up, my little Tattle Tells? How are you doing? Good, I hope. Welcome to a special after recap rants of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I haven't got my notes so we can actually get into this mess. How is everybody? Thank you so much for joining me. A lot happened this episode, but then I have this thing, but then all episodes, right? Should this be a makeup a mess? Should be, but then all Bravo episodes, not that much actually happened, But you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's get into this and see what's going. We have Mel, New York City, joining us to give his opinions, his recaps. He is the resident housewife historian. And we also have the late and great, lovely Mariam. She has not joined us yet, but not told. Okay, here we go. Let's get into this. Okay,
Hello.
Mel, how are you? Hi, Mel, how are you? Thank you for
Doing
joining
good.
us.
Thank you.
Yes, so we have Mel on. We're just going to wait for Mariam to join us, and then we're going to get into this episode. You guys, for you guys just joining us, this is recap. Oh, and speak of the devil herself, Mariam. How are you, Mama? We just were we're just waiting for Mariam to join. Listen. For all of you guys watching and the people that watch it on replay, what we do in the recaps and rants. Now, I do a regular recap that's like a 15-minute one and a longer one, but this is where our blood's flowing, where our adrenaline's pumping, while we're watching it. I don't believe this mess. This is what we are going to do with the actual recaps and rants. As you can see, it is a steamy 80 degrees here, but I like it hot. So, you guys. First impressions of the episode. First impressions of the episodes. Let's get a first impression. Describe this episode in 3 words.
Oh my gosh. Good, frustrating, and I have FOMO because I love the hotel.
Fear of missing out. Okay. Hey, what's up, Kimmy? How are you, babes? And for you, Mariam, describe it in 3 words.
Fake, critical, and disgusting.
Yeah. My 3 words were allegedly, liar, and outcast. Okay, those are my takeaways from there. You guys, let's open this up. We have the Hotel Del Mar. It is in San Diego. If you guys have never stayed there,
Can I change, but I add a little letter to the 2 words?
Well, let's
Cry a river.
Cry you a river? Yes, yeah. Cry a river. Okay, so we had that definitely going on. So listen, right?
Yeah. It's crazy. It was all about herself. Poor Erica. Poor Tom now. She wants us to feel sorry for him, to be put in the home. Seriously? I thought he was this nasty person to you, but now they even, when you lie, you forgot where your lie started, and she continues, and then she blames others for having questions. What the hell is
something? I figured something out about Erica, right? And this is just me just doing a deep dive into her psychology, right? Erica's one of those people that when she lies, right, she takes a drop of truth and then she tries to wrap reality around it, right?
That's true, yeah.
So let's talk about it, right? So, her son flipping his car 5 times. Now, the detective in Pasadena did say, we don't have any evidence of a break-in. Tom didn't confront a burglar. He saw a shadow. He decided to go and run. Okay, fine, right? But then we had something. Hello again, Mariam. But then they did say that it was reported in a separate county that a car did flip over 5 times. Let's just assume that is the nexus of reality. The car flipped over 5 times. This is for Erica's son that went to go check on Tom, right? But just because the car flipped over 5 times does not mean that Tom saw a burglar. It does not mean that he confronted anyone. I kept saying, and I maintain, this thing, in my opinion, with Tom having dementia is bullshit. Why? Because from what I understand, they are refusing to let an independent medical analysis of Tom take place. And let me tell you guys something a little bit about doctor's opinion in a legal field. Doctors' opinions are looked at as the word of God, right? Out of respect for the whole practice of medicine. If you get a doctor to say A, B, or C, it is very, very hard to challenge it because no other doctor, whether the doctor is right or wrong, wants to challenge it. It's like a brotherhood. That's why if you ever have workers' comp or somebody wants their doctor to check you out, you say, no, I'm going to my doctor. Because once that doctor says its thing, it's very hard. Now, Tom's case is special because everybody is challenging it, right? So they're just like, all right, if he has dementia, let's get him evaluated by a specialist in Alzheimer or dementia. They're refusing. And everyone was like, do you really think people's fake insanity? They fake dementia, they fake Alzheimer's, they fake all of that to get out of a crime. If I was on the thing for 25 million, I would forget my name right there mid-sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. But I kept saying, but where did they get that lie from? And Erica told us in there, my grandmother had dementia. I saw her go away. Tom took care of her. I think they cracked open the thing with dementia. Tom knows. He knows legal defenses. He knows that if he can get a doctor to analyze him, that he can fight another doctor having to actually give their medical opinion. She saw somebody with dementia. But at the end of the day, Tom, in my opinion, does not have dementia, and Erica knows that. And if she does have a dementia, that actually bodes worse for Erica because Erica kept saying that she knew something. First, the fact that Erica tried to act like she knew more than the medical profession. So all these doctors were saying having, but I said no. So now you're this medical whiz kid. But even then, let's just say everything you're saying is true. You rang the bell. You knew Tom was losing his wits, his opinion, his faculties. So you were taking money away from somebody with dementia. This actually is elder abuse. Erica, which is it? Pick a lane, pick a lane, pick a lane. It was great. You guys, we're going to get into the whole episode. We're going to go scene by scene. But first of all, I wanted to hear you guys' reaction to Erica's phantasmic claims. And also, we'll talk about the way I'm really disappointed. I think Garcelle and Alda might have gone easy on Erica. I think Erica might have started the tears and everybody backed off. But go on.
Yeah, but I think that yet again. So what you're saying, and again, I'm adding up. You're saying this is really, it just gave me chills. That because of her grandmother, who the poor lady is gone, that maybe they sat up in that mansion and knew all the symptoms, knew all the loopholes, knew all the side effects of somebody with dementia, and used that knowledge from her poor departed grandmother for Tom's defense.
Yeah, see, I 100% believe that just because they will not let him be evaluated by independent medical decision. And Alzheimer's dementia is not something that you can fake. Again, what makes me think they'll do something that low? The way that everyone, even Kyle, were like, last time we saw Tom, he was like Jiminy Crickets. He was, shout out to Mia, messy, handsome ass Mia, right? He was like generally crickets. He had all this stuff going on. He was fine. Every time, even this one girl that used to be on the old season said that when she met Tom came in there bragging about the money, bragging about the cases he had his faculties until the money ran out. When you look at the evidence that's actually in the court papers, some of the evidence they submitted are actual voice recordings of Tom literally running game on them. The game he was running was so sophisticated, the way he had to answer, the way he was saying, you cannot tell me that man was losing his faculties. You do not. It's just not possible. But also, you guys, they literally stole money from orphans, from widows. Erica was wearing on her neck what was more than the whole settlement for the widows and the orphans from the Indonesia. These people are scum, in my opinion. You cannot ask people who are scum, do you think they do that? Yeah, I'd be surprised if you did it, Mel, if you did it, Mariam. But somebody that stole over $100 million, no, of course, this is what they do. It's another grift. They feel no empathy. Of course they would lie in a second to get out of there, you know? Hey, Kalina. I'm going to call you Cully. Hey, Cully, what's going on? My girl Cully is in the chat, right? But yeah, I really honestly do think, she builds a story around the accidents and the head injuries. It's even debatable whether he had a head injury, because don't forget, this is what Erica's telling us. And Erica keeps changing her story. It's like the Simon Gabadia stuff. You only get 3 times to lie to me. Before after that, I'm like, I don't believe a word you're
That's
saying.
true.
But go on, you
Yeah.
guys. Sorry to interrupt. Let me know what you guys thought about that scene.
Listen, my point is they're insulting our intelligence, thinking this is gaslighting at its worst. First of all, they are focusing on Erica's hardship when they know that the accusations are not alleged crimes. These people were awarded who money which did not arrive into their pockets. So
Yes.
it was with Tom. So there's no alleged there. And
Yes.
for her to start crying a river over herself, that she's going through a lot, lying with that monotone through her nose voice. And
Yes.
poor me, poor me, poor me. And then nobody's standing up for her saying, hey, wait, look, but things that you told us were not true. Like they are totally overlooking that. They knew Erica to have a life that now she says no more. So if you believe Erica now, you know she lied. When you don't tell your reality, your real situation, you portray the total opposite. That means you're lying. Hiding stuff is different. I don't tell you the whole story. But in her case, she was just in Tahoe saying, I like people to be themselves. This is what I love about Tom, because Tom lets me be. And then 2 days after, she's filing for divorce in the day of the elections. This is to show who is the sniper from the side, Erica. They had it planned. They didn't want this all this media circus because he thought he could get away. And it doesn't really need to be tied to her grandmother. I
Mm-hmm.
He had represented people enough to coach them that if you pretend that you have Alzheimer's, you're okay. So he knows that. That thing that she tied to her grandmother, I feel like it's just one more thing for us to feel sympathy for her. She's begging for sympathy and empathy, and she gives nothing to the victims, the real victims. And this is where I say it was disgusting. Not only for them to push a nervous, like a breakdown from Garcelle. Oh, now we can be friends now that we made you cry. Like that's,
Yeah.
but also like when she says about herself and about Tom and her situation. Here, Kyle and Rena, shame on you. Shame on you. When she's talking about Tom, poor Tom, nobody's taking care of them. How about this? The young man that the love of his life died in the plane crash, and he had
Mm-hmm.
90% of his body burned. Like, oh, really? No. So now we feel sorry for Tom, who lived with
Yeah.
the stolen money for all these years, and you with your glam squad, which you still have some money because someone was doing her makeup over there. And
Yes,
that's
doing it very badly, but they were doing it. They were doing it. But listen, I have to ask you guys also. And again, you guys, we're going to get into the full episode breaking it down. No, we're going to get into the full episode breaking it down for those of you guys overseas that couldn't catch the episode. So we're going to go scene by scene. But before that, do you guys have any theories about why they keep trying to push Sutton up there to have a face off with Erica? Do you think they just thought Sutton wouldn't make she was going to continue a friend and she was disposable, and that's why they keep pushing her out there, like say something to Erica, say something to Erica. Like it boggles my mind that they keep putting Sutton up there.
I think that, well, for me, this episode actually was a little more proud of Sutton because she came to that dinner like, you know what, this lady done called me every name in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, quite frankly, and I think it's right that you cannot be, no matter what somebody supposedly is going through, if they constantly insulting you and threatening you almost physically, of course you're gonna be like, you know what, I don't respect you. I don't really care what you're going through. I just think, and I'm glad that energy was there. I think
I'm
that
glad
maybe,
too.
yeah, I think that maybe they pushed her, or they are pushing her, because they want to make her the scapegoat. She's the sort of sacrificial lamb, the person who they can push up and say, we want to know these things. We are too afraid of this woman, and we want this woman who was honest enough to say, I'm concerned about some things, and we want to push her up. So every time they have opportunity to say something, they constantly use Sutton to do something. So I think that they just sort of pushing her up because they're afraid of Erica.
I
You know,
agree with you.
yeah.
I agree with you. Let me just say hi to a few people. I already said hi to my girl Cully. What's going on? Hey T Love. Hey Morgan D. Hey Angie Winston. Angie Winston, there might be a homeless Portia rat, but then I have something else to laugh about with her. So I don't know. You know?
Wow.
I don't know. But you guys, so listen, let's go through this scene by scene, right?
Yeah.
Oh, unless Mariam, did you have something to add?
On Watch What Happens Live, one of the questions to Garcelle was, who is the most afraid of Erica? Sutton said Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
And one question to the other guest, I forgot what's his name, but he's so cool. I think he's the producer of White
A Day of White People.
Dear white people, yeah.
Yeah. So he goes, do you think it was a reach what they were doing with Garcelle? He goes, oh yeah. And then Sutton brings a story, and this is breaking news if you guys did not listen.
Oh, about the Elton John? Go on.
Yeah. The Elton John thing. She said, well, she's asking Garcelle, she's hurt by Garcelle not thanking her for a jar of sauce. I purchased tickets for them, each 10,000 a piece. So she took her and Harry Hamlin too, because she bought a table, and they were within the guests that she invited to that table, and they never thanked her. And then Lisa went on Twitter saying, no, we were invited. Invited by whom? And then Sutton, like her classy self, she said, well, maybe they did not know that I had to purchase the tickets, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was shady too.
Well, you know what though? It sounded definitely shady, but it sounded like a bold-faced lie from Lisa, because it's like, Lisa, Elton John invited you personally. Listen, Lisa knows the way it is when you are invited to benefits and balls. Nobody, unless you are a headlining act that you are bringing people in, nobody invites anybody personally. You either have a rich friend that buys a whole table and they invite you, right? This is the only way you can get there free. They invite you, or, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your date is taking you, but your date has to know somebody with the table, right? Or you are a headliner. For Lisa to say Elton John invited us, Lisa Renner, shut up. Elton John does not hold who you are. I'm done with these people's delusions of grandeur. Again, maybe because nobody's ever gone to a charity benefit ball, but it's like I have, and I know the way that shit goes. I'm done. But go on.
And one more.
Hey, Narada. Oh, so
Mel-
Scott asked had an important point, Mariam. Maybe you can answer. He said, if he doesn't have dementia and they're using it as an excuse to avoid punishment after Erica watched her grandmother die for it, think about how disgusting that really is. I think anybody that knows that your husband fleeced tens of millions away, hundreds of millions maybe, allegedly, and you're sitting there with your glam squat being like, ooh, I like that. And I'm sick of her dumb, I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but it's an old 1940s film saying, whatever happened to Baby Jane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was about, like, if anybody knows, it's like a old black and white film, but I think it's Betty Davis, whatnot. But every scene, her eyebrows are like drawn like this, and she's supposed to look sad and beleaguered. And it was like, I think a rich girl that was suddenly poor, and she had to think. Erica is role playing and cosplaying whatever happened to Baby Jane, even doing her damn makeup and her hair like that. And it's really, really, really getting on my nerves, right?
And the way you slice it, even if what she's saying is true, that she knew he was being sick and he has dementia and she wanted to take care of him, how do you divorce him at this time? She can't have it both. Another thing, like all the women in that table, nobody said, when she said that she should be threatened, and nobody said a word. Don't just say, no, we don't threaten each other. What happened to that Kyle that kicked Taylor and her late husband off the party because he sent a letter threatening Adrienne Malouf and her husband to sue them? Oh, the friends do not sue friends. So they do not sue, but they threaten. Like all these women, they're disgusting. And I feel like all these, when they're showing hints, excluding Garcelle and Sutton, when they're of like doubt on Erica, it's after the fact and after the headlines, because concurrently what you see in the show is their stance, and that is freaking disgusting for them.
It is.
cry with her and go hug her, and Lisa Rena puts her hand on her heart, like she feels with Erica's pain. Like, are you serious? Do you know the legal issues that Tom is facing? Instead of having someone, I don't care if she paid $100, make a jar to give back to the victims, because you were flying on private jets and doing your shows and buying #1 iTunes at their dime. Give some money back. Pretend you did not know, but now you know, Erica. Oh God.
Yeah, but I think that you're right. At the beginning of the series, they were, telling Taylor, oh, we can't really sue each other, stuff like that. But I think that over the years, all the things they blame LVP for about producing themselves and yada yada, boom boom boom, I think that they do that now. I think they're more like cutthroat right now. They just sort of eat each other up alive, and they push one season. They always had to put one person out in front, and I think that especially Kyle, she had troubles with her sisters, and I'm surprised that her and Kathy get along as much as they do, because she will stab everybody in the back every chance she get. I think that the way she treated Kim was crazy for the past couple of years, and I think that Sutton is supposed to be quote unquote her friend, but every time she gets close to somebody, she pushes them out to be in the hot seat. So yeah, I just think
does that. I honestly think Kyle does that because honestly, Kyle has issues with being the forgotten person in the family. Kyle has issues with look at me, look at me, look at me. And Kyle cannot, now that she's an adult and now that she can show her power, she will never be in anybody's shadow again, But I also think that Kyle, just her personality, she's very, I don't want to say conniving. She's just very strategic, right? Yeah. And I don't know if that was always her personality or what. Now, hold on really quick, Mariam. I just want to read a few comments. ACE says, I haven't watched the episode yet, so I'm assuming it's another episode of Pretty Little Liars. Yo, that used to be our show. Got a secret. Can you keep it? Taking this one to the grave. Better lock it in your... You guys know what I'm talking about. Shout out to the Pretty Little Liars fans. I Lost Love said, Bravo needs to make it so that the housewives that are piggybacking off a storyline that isn't theirs for more than 2 seasons needs to go.
That's
now,
right.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Lost Love also said, why did Garcelle have to be pushed to the point of breaking down for the women to feel any sort of empathy for her? And you know what? I saw those cold faces around the table. It should have been Simon breaking down to me. You would have gotten the same look like, I guess. There was no sympathy there. They just knew that socially they couldn't keep going in. It's like, all right, but you got this one time. I'll see you tomorrow. It's still on site tomorrow,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I think in that scene when I think that Garcelle, God bless her, she you know what? It doesn't matter if you're black or white. She's just a very loving person.
She is.
She's a very open person, and I think that she probably, if it was any one of us, we probably would have pulled an Erica in that moment when Erica didn't want to be touched at the table. She sort of pulled away. I think that if Garcelle did that in the moment, she could have pulled the Erica in that moment.
You know what they would say about her? That she's aggressive.
Yes.
She can't afford to have the
They would have deserved it. They would have deserved it because I think that, but I didn't like, so the thing is, I didn't like that Garcelle at the table was like, she was clocking them. She really was like, give me a break. She kind of felt that train. Okay, yes.
Ooh. Wait, sorry. Yeah. So let's set this table up, right? Let's set this scene up for if you guys haven't seen it overseas. So they're at the table, they're all eating, and first they start with Sutton, but Sutton's not really taking the bait. Like, why'd you do this? And Erica being ignorant, why are you talking to me? Shut up. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Why are you talking to me? Shut up. I'm done with you. I have a lot going on. I'm done, right? She's going through all this stuff, right? And you know what? We're going to get back to Tom having a dementia because I have a theory for that. That's the only time I saw Erica show any emotion. You know why? Because if his brother is named conservative of his estate and with the dementia, if there's any money left over, guess what? They can cut Erica out of the will because his brother has power of attorney. Wow. That's why she was upset. And she was like, I still love the man. Now all of a sudden the emotion flows out. But they're all sitting at the table. And all of a sudden I think Dorit, I still like Dorit sort of, it hasn't gotten old to me. The little Asian doll hairstyle she's doing, right? Shout out to black rappers female rappers, because where would they get their hairstyles from, right? So Dorit's sitting there, she starts picking with Garcelle. So Garcelle starts playing this emotional, rich woman game, which she's very adept with, right? She understands that none of them are friends. She understands she has to tread lightly because they're trying to play that, oh, I'm just a nice person game. But she's also holding them accountable. Dorit's like, you know, why do you think you're an outsider? And they're all like, you're not an outsider. What are you talking about? And so then Garcelle does something I think is very, really, really brave because it ended up exactly the way I thought it would end up. She said, do you understand what it is to come into this group? Have you guys considered that I'm the only Black woman? And they all opened their mouths to be like, oh, to say it's not about race. And Garcelle cut them off. I know it's not about race.
That's right.
What I'm saying is you need to understand that it's different. I feel like I'm on an island on myself. Have you ever walked, and I'm sick of proving myself. I feel like I always have to prove myself. And she said, have you ever walked into a room and felt like you had to prove yourself? And Kathy goddamn Hilton opened her mouth to say, yeah, I sure do. And that's when I said, okay, listen, the way Crystal went in on Sutton for saying that something was wrong, but Crystal went in on her. The way that Kathy Hilton has said the same dumb stuff. They start talking about race. She brings up Michael Jackson saying they were friends. She literally said, I had a Black friend, right? The way Kathy Hilton said, I do. And Garcelle looked at her and literally, I recognized that look was like, is this bitch serious? She literally stopped in her tears and was like, what? Right? She said, is this bitch serious? And then all of a sudden, Garcelle is smart and she's used to working with passive aggressive people. She said, well, try dealing with it your whole life. And I said, yes, Garcelle, you let her know. She said, try dealing with it your whole life. And Kathy was like, And they all sat there and they were like, no, but you are accepted. You are accepted. You are accepted. And then Kyle got up and gave her a little fake hug. Garcelle had to, like you said, Mariam, had to accept it because if not, they would have been aggressive. But whether it's Garcelle or anyone, these ladies had, and I realize they're in their own little Bravo sphere. I realize, right? We're watching this, but they're in the Bravo sphere. But the fact, like you said, Mel, and you said, Mariam, that Erica has been able to, Mariam's fixing her camera. She'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Been able to snarl and spit and foam at the mouth, to whisper things, to threaten physical violence and legal violence on people. And she's fine. But they will still sit there at the same table after that happened and be like, Garcelle, I think you're a bully. Y'all, listen.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, but I was going to say, right, I do think that it's not even to the point of it, but granted, there is a racial element to it. But I think, honestly, I'm beginning to see they're all just mean girls, and Crystal is trying to get on the mean girl team. But I think more than that, they're just all cliquish mean girls.
I love that you say cliquish because so this is the thing. So do I think that all the ladies in the cast are a bunch of Ku Klux Klan members? No, I don't think that. But do I think that they sort of are like a clique together? And that maybe they are insensitive? Absolutely. I think that, so if you are keeping out a woman who happens to be African-American woman, maybe you're not aware or smart enough to think about those kind of dynamics, but you're basically isolating her, not on race, but just that you're isolating for no good reason.
But who has a conversation about race? Mariam, that's like you talking to me about being Lebanese and you're talking about the pain and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I know the same thing because I'm Black. You'd be like,
oh, you know more.
But what I'm trying to say, yeah, I know more. You're like, imagine being Muslim and Lebanese, and do you know what that feels like? And I'm like, yeah, I do. The fact that she was having that conversation and you interjected and to do it to discredit what she was saying. I'm telling you, if Kathy Hilton stays one more season, first of all, Kyle's going to expose her because Kyle can't take Kathy being the fan favorite. But this is going to crumble. Sorry, Mariam, go ahead.
I'm telling you, Kathy is out. First of all, can we talk about product placement? How she was showing the Hilton and everything she's doing there. Kathy is there for a reason. She just wants every scene that Kathy is in charge of, even that facial that she said, oh, I want Erica to feel better. Like she was like, it was an advertisement for that girl that does facial with the Reiki like thing, energy.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah, I'm 100% because they put her name there. So everything that shows, like now everybody in Beverly Hills will be Googling that lady. And we want to do the same thing. And now the hotels are the Hilton over there where they went. And they were showing the premises, like the hotel in Dubai, that was something worth showing. This hotel that they were there, what is that? That's nothing. And
so I was watching it with my BFF, and they said the same thing. Because, I said, why are they trying to make,
it's dated. It's so outdated. It needs updating, like serious updating. And
I thought it looked cozy. I would have loved to stay there for a little bit.
Well, like for free. But
here's the thing. I think what Mariam's saying, it looks like an American hotel trying to look like a historic European hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about. Take it on itself, you're like, okay, fine. To me, no, I like modern. It's not really my speed. But if I sat there, I'd be like, okay, this is nice. It's luxurious. I can say that. But I know what you're saying. That hotel had the look of an American hotel trying to look like an old school. It's like when European hotels try to look like a cool, hip, trendy American hotel. And you're just like, can you please stop? This isn't going to work.
I be provocative here. I think that the reconciliation between Kyle and Kathy is fake. They are.
Why do you think that?
Because I feel like Kathy, she came to the show to fix her public image after the documentary of Paris.
Okay.
Okay, there's that. And other than that, now we have a home, a Airbnb. So like, who is really looking for a hotel to pay $200 when they can have a house for the same price? So maybe there's trouble there. I'm not saying trouble for them is like, still they have a lot of money, but I feel like Kathy, every scene that she's there, she did like, the Baccarat, like mention. And everything. There's not one, even when she mentions the restaurants, all the restaurants that she was ordering and playing like, the quirky self, they were restaurants in Hilton properties. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Kathy is there for a reason, and they're very calculated. And the Fox 4 now, they are on a mission to, whenever they feel like it's too obvious what Erica is doing wrong, they deflect. Dorit, she chimed in when Erica said, yes, she should be threatened. She should be threatened, and nobody said a word. Then she brings Garcelle in. So now who are they talking about? Garcelle. Who Lisa is talking about? Garcelle. Lisa, her big lips, she kept them shut when what's her name? When Eric is saying, I'm not interested why you're talking to me and this and that.
That's
so
right.
if you're a friend group, you them reconcile.
So when when Lisa Rinna was trying to mini grill Garcelle, just trying. She was reminding me a little bit of last year with Denise Richards, but I think that I can't remember everything Garcelle said, but she was like, I forgot what she was saying, but she was basically checking her at every step of the way. And I loved it. Even when I just loved that scene because, even though she got emotional, the emotion was out of fierceness. She was like, she was really letting them know. So I like that. She couldn't go down the road that Lisa wanted her to go, where she would be on the offensive. She basically was checking her. But I think that you're right. The only time this season, with everything going on, Miss Lisa Rinna, the one thing you want to sort of pull your Lisa Rinna stunt on is with Garcelle, whether or not she's friends with the group. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, it's so many things going on with these things. Even when they huddle together, three of the ladies getting this new information. And yet when you go to Erica, you're like, oh, yes, girl, you're kissing her feet. You're kissing her hands. She's the queen. You're not pushing with these unbelievable stories. Even as Tisa was telling about this sort of autonomous and the timelines of things, there's no questions there. But when you ask Garcelle, who feels isolated, do you like the ladies at the table? I love that she said, yeah, I like some of you all. I mean, some of you I like. I'm like,
some more than others. But you know what? Really quick, let's get some comments in. ACE said Kathy appears to be putting on an act for me. Right? It's like an onion in terms of layers, and it's still in the bag at the supermarket. But LOL, she's quirky. I agree. Thank you so much, Nas. Nas says she loves our interaction, right? Now, this is something, right? Because I feel like tonight, a lot of Black women felt seen, right? Maybe a lot of minority people felt seen, right? She said, Macy said, Garcelle is providing all Black women a master class in dealing with relational aggression. I agree, right? Lost Love, I agree. They're a bunch of sheep. Tila Palmer says, it reminds me of me being the only Black girl living in the suburbs. Hey, Lisa, what's going on? Macy went on to say,
I was going to say, I was going to say, what I was going to say too. This is why I think that Denise should have listened to Garcelle last year. Garcelle was sitting with her, being her coach all year. She was trying to tell her, don't run away from the table. Speak your mind. Don't get emotional. And you see Garcelle. She cried about feeling isolated and her pressure as being a Black woman. But other than that, throughout the whole series, they have always cornered her and tried to grill her, and she's handled it like the way she tried to tell Denise. I'm hoping Denise is looking and watching and saying, you know what? Garcelle didn't have an easy season. I'm coming in next year, and if they try me like that, I'm going to be just like Garcelle.
Who wants Denise to come back?
I do.
Mariam, I would love Denise to come back.
Just
but
to give me some winner.
Yes, but I would love Denise to come back
if
without having 3 glasses of wine and her boyfriend not talk. Well, then again, I don't want to, because I know her boyfriend will be doing anti-vax commercials on camera. So it's just like,
well, you know what? I love. You know what? I love crazy husbands. I mean, look at Slade and on the OC and all of them. So Denise has
the thing. I'm into holistic alternative things.
Me
so
too.
Listen, he's very. There was a lot of truth in what he was saying. That's all. But because you're in Beverly Hills and all the people are this and that, they were just sitting there playing him at the table, looking at him like, where'd they do that there? And it's just like, girl, stop it. We all know energy healing. We all know Reiki. We all know this. We all know that. But they were just having fun, like playing him. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Camille back, but I feel like this it was clear that they were there saying, no matter what, we have each other's back, because they know each other's skeletons. And Serena, I feel like it's not only skeleton in the closet. I feel like there's money hidden there or invested. Lisa, she has loyalty to no one but herself. And this type of loyalty that she's showing is very, very telling. And for me, it's like they all ganged up on Garcelle. Garcelle, she's used to being the only one, different one. So she knows how. Meanwhile, Denise, she never had to prove herself. Denise just shows up pretty and sexy, and she was fine. But not Garcelle. Garcelle needs to be all that and
also, you know what, too, Mariam? She was a model. So I remember, I don't know much about the model world, but I know that it's even more full with sexism, racism, and all type of stuff. So that toughened Garcelle up, especially coming from Haiti. So you can imagine, here's this drop-dead gorgeous, beautiful woman going to New York City, and you have even if Tyra had issues, Garcelle had issues with so to be in a group of ladies who are picking you apart and doing that. She's like, you know what? I dealt with Versace and everybody else. I can take you on if I want to, so.
Yeah, I don't remember who is the Black model, but she said sometimes my skin was too light or was too dark or my hair was too Black. So the scrutiny towards Black models is astounding. And so she all her life she's fighting. When what's her name? Ebony, she said, I work twice as hard to get half as much. That is so true of every minority in this country, especially the Black people, So it's like she's used to it. But today we saw all of them ganging up on her. Nobody stood up to the bully that said, yes, she should be threatened. So now they're cool with people being threatened. And Crystal, she thinks she's part of the clan just because of her husband's checkbook.
But what's so crazy about Crystal is that she understands now that the show's over. You heard, I forget where I hear from, but Crystal deleted her Twitter because she was getting a massive amount of racism attacks. Some people, they had told her.
Really?
Yes, I think it was. I forget what channel it was on, but it was reported that people were saying, "You're disgusting. Your film, your culture is disgusting. What are you doing when you're not filming? Are you eating? I mean, the most horrendous thing." So she deleted I'm not sure if it's this week or today. She deleted her Twitter. She still has Instagram, but she deleted because of a lot of racism. So it's really, but she's also posted for a long time. I'm an Asian, which she should be, and I'm proud to be an Asian, which is beautiful. So she knows about racism. So it was crazy that when Garcelle was feeling microaggression after microaggression after microaggression, that she wasn't there saying, sister, we here together. She sort of went into the clique, which they,
Exactly. This is what shocked me. You were checking Sutton for much less than what Garcelle is facing.
That's right.
And you don't say a word. You're dancing to the tune of all these whistles.
That's right. And Kathy Hilton, even though she is very funny, you see that this is what I think with Kathy Hilton. I think that Kathy Hilton is wonderful for the viewers to look at and to hear, but I think that and you know what I would tell you, she's a sweet lady. I've actually talked to her a couple of times. She commented on my Instagram one time about my mother's passing. So she's a sweet lady, but I think that maybe her husband, or the way that the circle she's in, she just maybe is insensitive when it comes to race, and I think that may be one of her issues. I'm not sure. I don't think she's a Ku Klux Klan member, but I think that she may not really be very.
I think a lot of people, regardless of their race or color, can be insensitive to race. But to your point, I do definitely think that it is just born out of privilege. I mean, think about it.
Yes.
If you've never had, I agree with you, Mel. If you've never had to consider anybody outside of your feelings or your side, it's very easy to dismiss things, which is why people don't understand the difference between casual and real, because they're like, okay, fine. If I see a cross being burned, okay, that's wrong. But if you see somebody being kind of excluded, it's very easy for them to be like, well, they need to keep up. It becomes very dismissive. So
I was going to ask you ladies, because this is a funny part of the episode, maybe not so funny. So dealing with Kathy at the beginning of the episode, which was funny. I actually liked the opening of the show. Everybody was getting together to go to a trip. She forget her bag, and she's have a worker in her house. And she told her sister, I want you to call my house. And Cal said, well, what's the woman's name? I don't know the woman's name. Just call her Lady. Now I'm thinking, I hope that person is a new hire. I hope that that person was not at her house for a couple of months in a year and she don't know the woman's name. That's crazy.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I just want to give you a formula. Not all white privileged people, the privileged, I'm not going to name white because I'm seeing shades of privilege even in the Asian culture.
That's right. Of course. Yeah.
Not all privileged people are racist, but all racist people are privileged. So this is why it's so important for them to draw the line and wake up. And to be honest with you, I find Kathy like she's a breath of fresh air, but it's coming off now. It's every scene, everything. She can't be that oblivious person and throw in those exquisite dinner parties that she even knows that the caviar has to be poured over the potato at the table, not brought from the kitchen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those intricacies. It's hard to square it with this woman that fell asleep in a sound bath.
That's right.
True. You know what? I think like another issue is with this. Let's actually start going through, because this episode actually gave a lot to unpack. I'm going to read a few comments, and then we're going to start going by scene by scene by scene. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, I'm like just flown in. I'm like checking up on mail. Okay, so hold on. Let's see. Listen. So here we go. Diva675 said, do you think this, we're just going to read through the questions and then we'll get to them. Do you think this was written as planned to get Garcelle off just like they did Denise? Yeah. We'll do a 3-round. Yes or no? Mariam, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Mel says yes. I say yes. Okay. Morgan says, all these women are white privileged at its finest, and Crystal wants to assimilate to them. Listen, I do believe that I do believe that Crystal is a groupie to her heart. I'm sorry about what she experienced on Twitter, but she is a groupie. Yes or no? Do you guys think Crystal's a groupie? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, I like that. We're the power of 3. Okay. Kalina said, hey, y'all. Ooh, that Kathy ain't no good. I screamed when they showed her purse at home. They took pride in getting a rise out of Garcelle. Just the pitiful hugs make me sick. I agree. Lost Love said, can you talk about Kathy not knowing that? Oh, we just did. The name of her employees and called her the lady. I mean, it's funny, but it's super disrespectful to the working class. But this is the type of person Kathy is. Again, I'm not saying Kathy is spitting and kicking on people and kicking her employees. I am saying that there is a lot of classism going on. Now, go on, Mariam. I'm reading through questions. I'm sorry.
And learning the name of the people who work for her.
How about, here's the thing. I don't even think you have to learn the names. To say just call her lady was a complete level, right? If
Mm-hmm.
someone's just like, oh, Tisa, what's her name? I'm like, thank you, sweetheart, But to say, just call her lady, you literally told someone else it was okay to say. I do remember, like,
The help.
if
Like
you
the help.
if you've ever worked at like a fine dining restaurant, not like a strip club that serves steak and lobster like Mia, but a real 5-star restaurant or 3 or 4-star Michelin restaurant, you would know that one of the oddities, especially when you come from a working class family, is the fact that those people really do think that when you have a uniform on, you disappear. They will do the craziest things, not to the employees, I hope not, but to each other. They will say the craziest things because in their minds, you don't exist, if that means anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like someone saying, Quaffle, the dog might hear. Most people be like, who cares if the dog's here? What's the dog going to say? That's the way they look at a lot of workers. And it seems like Kathy has that. Again, does it make her a bad person? No.
Maybe
Does
an
it make it just
maybe an
like
insensitive one. Maybe insensitive.
insensitive? And so it's kind of like, and I feel because like ACE says, oh, but look, I'm quirky. People let her slide. Now let's go through
I don't
this.
like. I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't like it either. Let's go through
I
these scenes.
I don't makes her making her, it doesn't make her look good. It makes her look bad. It implies a lot of like biases that she has within herself. It was like she was calling the help, the lady, the help. It was like Ramona. I got Ramona vibes.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
And her,
I agree. And, we're going to have another panel about the Real Housewives in New York. Maybe toward the end, we can talk about this.
Yeah.
Me and Mel were going to. You, Mariam, of course, you're always invited. We were going to talk about the rise and fall of Real Housewives in New York and the way just like funny, quirky, and cultural insensitivity. We've evolved as a culture enough that it's just like, yeah, it's no longer funny. And well, at least I do. I think that's why the Real Housewives of New York are actually going down in ratings. Because seeing Ramona be like, oh, the help and make it's just no longer funny. It's no longer funny. So,
yeah.
But let's see. Let's go through this line by line, right? So we're talking about, right? Take it away. So they start off, right? They start off and they get there. They go through the hotel. There's a little cutesy thing where Kyle's running for her room. It was a cute scene, but I'm kind of sick of like, the OG housewives really know how to play to the camera. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you go there and the kids are sitting up properly and they know like they have to throw the newer ones under the bus to get production to leave their family alone. So they just come. And now it seems like Kyle is going out of her way to show, look, we're kooky sisters. I might have thrown Kim under the bus. So that's because Kim had problems. But me and Kathy, we're solid. It's like Kyle is leaning into the lovable kooky sister thing. Especially considering none of the ladies that work for your sister know who you are. So what's really good, right? Like you guys reunited a week before filming, and I don't believe, to your point, Mariam, and to your point, Mel, I don't believe this piece is going to last. What did you guys think of that opening scene?
Oh, I was going to say one thing about that observation. I've always thought that Kyle, and no age shaming, beautiful lady, I was never believed how she played the innocent part. Like, I don't curse. I can't say this. This is not right. I feel guilty about this. This is so bad. I never believed the things she say. So like you were saying, when she was there trying to run around for the room, I believe absolutely she was producing the scene and say, I need to be kooky and fun in this moment and run around and do that kind of stuff. When it looked like they both had the same room. So it just was like, okay, that was unnecessary. I think Cal was always wanting to be seen as kooky and lovable and nice and innocent.
Just like, ding! Yes, that's Kyle's thing.
Yeah.
Today, I was watching the reruns of when they started gunning after LVP.
That's right.
I think, this is the demise of Kyle has just started, and cracks will happen in the Fox 4 because I cannot see how they will survive after this. What is giving them ratings are the legal woes of the Girardis. Let's face it. If it wasn't for that, their destiny is just the same as New York, because now they have a diverse cast. They have an Asian woman and they have a Black woman. So when they do that, their white privilege comes to surface.
True.
So if it wasn't for what's happening with Erica, I can promise you it would be the same thing as what happened with New York, because it is the same thing, but it would be the same result. And I feel like Kyle, she's kind of jealous how likable and how everybody's kissing up to Kathy's ass. So
Yeah.
she's trying to do the same thing, but for me it's like it's not gonna fly. They are riding the wave of the criminal problems that the Girardis are encountering, and they're showing this loyalty to Erica, which is ridiculous.
I
And
agree.
must be they must be hyperventilating, like she must be having anxiety attacks because she suffers from anxiety like Kyle. This is horrendous for them not to tell her do not threaten anybody, and for them to have the only point that they go and hug Garcelle just after they make her cry. This is abuse. This is emotional abuse. An emotional abusive person puts you down,
Yeah.
to cry, and then they go, oh, I love you, oh, this and that, and then guess what, when she's gonna have another jab next episode. So it's not even within 24 hours that Lisa Rinna will attack her for sure. And I am sick of it. They made me sick today, just like I was sick watching New York. I am telling you.
Yes.
It's this is the same disgusting things. I can't believe. And Bravo, they did not realize after filming New York how bad it would look.
But Mariam, let's take a look. Do you think Bravo even really cares? Because look at the way Andy and them are drumming up sympathy for Erica. And this what makes me think that the Bravo actually has Erica's back. Because even Garcelle tweeted something or talked earlier today about, no, Erica came clean and it was a breakthrough moment. Because that's one thing I can say about Garcelle. You knew that she's used to swimming through a room full of sharks. What analogy am I trying to make? I'm like swimming through a room full of snakes. Garcelle is like used to that. So the fact that Garcelle even sees the tide turning to being pro Erica, and Garcelle's like, I'm not. At the end of the day, she has her own family to worry about. So it really does make me realize like what is actually going on.
Bravo cares. If Bravo cared, they would have never allowed any scene to be aired of the outrageousness of Ramona, if they cared. But over there is no criminal issues that was the lifeline for New York, like it is for Beverly Hills. Like,
I think that Erica, the time against Erica is changing a little bit, but I don't know. But I think we both saw the Miss Mariam and I, we both saw the Watch What Happened Live, and I think she lost every poll, which was hysterical. I think every time
did she really?
Yeah.
Yes, every time Andy asked, anything about Erica, the viewers went the negative way. So she lost everything. So I'm not sure if the tides are totally turning because the viewers are not really believing her. But like you said, Tisa, if at the reunion, if we're not worried about the viewers. The Bravo is mostly worried about their money. Even infamy brings in cash and viewers and things like that. So maybe at the reunion, they were like, okay, maybe she's salvageable. Maybe we can work with her, even though she's very polarizing. She's given us something that maybe the viewers might be able to like. So maybe that's why they're very enthusiastic about the reunion, because she gave something.
No,
I think that's what it is. I mean, that would make sense to a certain extent. I'm not gonna lie,
She started listening to PK because next episode, she's being friendly. If you guys remember the snippet that they showed, she's becoming friendly with the Sutton of all people, the one that she said, "Why are you talking to me?"
Is she really?
Yes. And then Garcelle and Sutton are at the balcony talking. She goes, "Do you believe her friendliness towards you right now?" And then what's her name?
Erica. She comes up and says, "Oh, yeah, I can hear you talking about me."
She said, "I hear everything you guys."
When they were like,
Yes.
Listen, when that happened, I was like, this is where producer tinkering goes right. Because, usually that's when the producer's setting things up, putting her under, was like, Erica, why don't we go sit on the patio and just chill out? That's when it went right. That's when it went right.
The reunion. In the reunion, she's going to have the come to Jesus moment, Erica, and she's going to apologize to Sutton. she is trying to now she's trying to really, like, I think she's listening to what PK said the previous episode. As much as she hated seeing her allies laughing at her, I think this was her wake-up call. That dinner, that was gold TV. That was Erica's wake-up call. After that, I think she had a talk with Dorit, because they are together. They're like, no matter what, we're gonna keep having people coming in and out, and we're staying as the nucleus of the show. And this is why they wanted to take down LVP, which, by the way, she just rose above everything. She has
She did.
rose, just
She did.
and she doesn't need that little chat. She doesn't.
Well, hold on. Let's take a minute really quick. First of all, I got to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Kalina Molina for that super chat. What's up, B? You're in here. We got the Tattle Fam in here. Of course, Lost Love is coming through strong. And Morgan, what's up? So Lost Love has a few things, right? Mm-hmm. Listen, I agree with you, Lost Love. Bravo shouldn't be trying to protect Ramona, but you also said you had something really interesting to say. Well, okay, so true. So Lost Love said they need exclusives. That's why they have Erica. There's a 3-part reunion plus Erica exclusive. Erica is the storyline for the whole season. It's a big payday. That is true. You have to give the people what they want. And Lost Love also said, plus if it's true that Andy knew because of Bethany and the rumors were swirling at the baby shower, Andy and Bravo payday. You know what? This is a good point that nobody actually thinks in. We're in YouTube. We know there are some things I would love to talk about, such as how to make DIY curtains out of old jeans that you guys don't give a damn about, right? So you have to 100%, you guys don't care, right? So you got to follow the story. It's like when people say, like follow the story, that's what you have to do. So, it is what it is. Bravo is looking at a huge payday. Erica Jane is a whole huge payday. So I guess they're protecting their cash cow, right? I guess they're protecting their cash cow. What do you guys think?
This is what happened in Watch What Happens Live when they mentioned that Sutton, like, can you guess who was the housewife that told Camille about the rumors then in 2000? But I was like, Andy, you knew. Your BFF, Bethany, she just outed you.
That's true.
This is what makes it even dirtier. Of course,
but you see, and that's why I love Kathy Griffin, not to bring her into something like this, because she said that the whole Bravo universe was nothing but just faking kissing. And in her blog, she really revealed everything. But yeah, I think that's
was it a recent blog or an old blog?
Oh, I think it was before she got done with cancer. Yeah, she exposed Bravo big time when she worked there for years. But
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, she was like, oh, well, people did cocaine and all type of things she talked about. But come on now. But I think that you're right, Tisa. I think that yes, I think that infamy and being polarizing and being just crazy, it makes people view into the show. It makes people do reviews. It just makes blogs. It's a lot of things, a lot of eyes.
I mean, look at us, right? We came together.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, exactly.
And nobody on this panel loves Erica, so I think that that's the reason why they probably would have her back. And I think Andy just was looking for any opportunity to put into a place where it wouldn't be too hard to have her back. I think, So yeah.
Request for you: after this reunion airs and Salt Lake City airs, I want us to compare how Andy treated Jen Shah and how he treated Erica.
Okay.
See, here's the thing, though. I don't want to turn it into race, but I will, right? But I will. I don't know if it's because here's another thing about like microaggressions, right? Sometimes it is the fact that people are like, no, but I just know you better than I know you. I do think it's odd that he's super close to all these problematic people, but whenever it seems like there is a person of color who's problematic, he gets very, very cold to them. I realize he might not have a relationship, but then that's the whole point. It's like that thing where somebody's like, I can't help it that all my friends are not this or not that. It's just like, but you're in charge of who your friends are. You're telling us that there's never been, and this goes on no matter what race you are, right? You're telling us there's never been a race, somebody of any other race that you've even begun to even have anything in common to start a friendship with. So with Andy, it is this. But listen, let's go into where did it go, right? The car accident.
Oh, wow.
The car accident. the car accident, right?
I'm gonna say I can't engage in this. Right.
It's the fact that they will sit there
And listen.
and let her lie. And only thing they can do is push Sutton to be a sacrificial lamb. But I guess the whole thing is they actually just don't care. They really just don't care at the bottom of their eye. We're talking about Bravo wants it a storyline. Kyle, Renna, all of them, I feel it's the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Right? With storylines.
The storyline. They'd rather have Eric as the storyline, so they are having it both ways. They were the ones pushing Sutton to bring that up in front of, like, if you really care about Erica, you know that Erica doesn't want to have that conversation in public or in front of the cameras. But here you were, and this is another difference between Erica's backlash to Garcelle when she just mentioned that she and Tom talk, compared to the backlash that Kyle is the one pushing Sutton to say what she said. So say that you called her a liar. Well, Erica is an admitted liar just because she changed it, like the description of her marriage. So you guys should just take that at face value. And then for them to be there, they're pretending that they have Erica's back, but at the same time they're keeping the flame under her story because they want to deflect. So here the masterful of deflection award goes to Dorit, Kyle, and Lisa Rinna.
I agree that. So everybody doesn't know what Mariam's referring to. If you guys are overseas, you haven't seen the episode. It opens with another scene about what Kyle is talking to Erica, and Erica is saying that there was a car crash. And it's just more. Again, I tried to take notes. She wasn't there. Allegedly, he had I'm sorry, wrong thing, right? So they're all sitting there eating, right? And Erica's there for dumb 1960s eyeshadow, which really aged her. I never really noticed Erica's age until then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a really harsh look. Like
the same makeup on Candace, because Candace had the look like that with yellow eyeshadow.
I liked it on Candace though. But
Me too.
Listen, I loved it on Candace. That's what you do it, Candace. I like, but with Erica, there was just something where it just didn't suit her face. But this is my gripe with Erica's. When I say that it ages Erica, not that it makes her look old, but you know that once you reach a certain age, or not even age, once you get stuck in a certain style, right? Yeah. People, if they're like, oh, here, wear this. It looks like Erica always looks like she's wearing a costume. It always looks like she went into like Rihanna or Beyonce's closet, or she went into, and she put on clothes, but it's not her own personality. That whole getup looked like somebody had a vision, but it's like, yeah, maybe Kylie or Kim Kardashian wore that. On Erica, it's like, it just looks like you're just like, oh, is this what the kids wear? Okay, cool, right? So they go in there. They're sitting there and and Erica's telling the story. And I think Dorit is like, okay. And the funny thing is Kyle and Dorit are trying not to laugh at the table because, they just got done clowning Erica. So they're like, what happened with Tom? You said he had a head injury. You said you had this, you had that. And then Erica looks at them with a straight face and says, well, yeah, allegedly. And Kyle is like eating. She's in the middle of stuffing her face, right? That's what I love about Kyle. She doesn't miss a meal because I wouldn't either. Free food on the table. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Kyle's stuffing her face and she stops and was like, what do you mean allegedly? In her confessional, you're the one that said it. Erica she literally is that person that starts a rumor. Hey, Mariam, I hear A, B, and C. You repeated the Mel. It gets to me. And then I'm just like, hey, Erica, did you hear A, B, and C? And Erica's like, allegedly. What you mean allegedly? You started.
I mean, really. So that was crazy to me. It's like, how are you going? It's almost like me giving you a recipe. Say, okay, here's the recipe for some cookies. And then you call me back and say, well, did you tell me to put some butter or put oil? I think I told you to put butter allegedly. It's like, really? Wait a minute. This is so crazy. Why would we use allegedly where we are not in the legal case together? So why can't you talk freely? I see, for me, for years,
that happened is alleged. Like, she's saying that he had an accident. So that is an act. So that is a happening. So how can you say that's not an accusation? I'm accusing you of having an accident. You don't accuse someone of having a car accident. Car accident is an accident. It's not something that you can accuse someone else of, hence use the word alleged.
I
I'm
know
no
it's.
lawyer, but I know for languages Dorit, and in none of them this makes sense.
Come on now. But you know, I was going to say about Dorit. I know we skipped over it. I just want to go back for 1 sec. We didn't really have to stay there. But at the beginning of the episode, I thought it was annoying that Dorit was, as she, so this is the thing that I'm asking you all. So Dorit is using for a storyline. Garcelle, you're not being very honest with me, and you're talking behind my back. So why every scene, either she's talking to Crystal, she's talking to Cal. Beginning of this episode, she was talking to Kathy about this stupid article saying that the ladies were against her. She's trying to go to all the cast members to basically get them to get riled up about what she's saying, and I thought that was very annoying. I know we were talking about the beach.
Go on, Mariam. Weigh in.
You
Go
know
on. Sorry.
annoying? Now they're using who? All about the tea as a. Are they kidding me? Do they know how they clickbait? How they sensationalize everything? So now this is their source. Consider your source. Like that was laughable. Like even after everything that happened with the all about the tea over there, I don't know what is happening right now. But really, now you're using that one that was like she just uses clickbait and she tricks people into thinking something, and then after 2-3 hours of live you think that she's saying alleged, but her headline is nothing alleged.
I told you, Miss Tisa. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit about that. But yeah, but that was very annoying. That I just think it's like you said, gaslighting. How can you go to every single cast member with nothing? And it's almost like, you see, for me, I think they wish that Garcelle was out there, that she was not this sort of honorable woman who was with her children, who did not date anybody.
Yeah.
They want her to be the woman out there having affairs and having issues with money. And they would love, if nothing else, for her to have these problems. But she is basically an actress. She's with her kids.
A working actress.
And she's not dating anybody. She's not sleeping with anybody. So they have nothing. So all they have is just these little, like you said, Miss Mariam, this sort of rags and papers, and it's crazy.
No, I completely agree. I just don't understand how, again, the hypocrisy, and I get it. It's all the producers. They all walk around it. And again, I think a lot's edited out because here's the thing about Garcelle. She's definitely very emotionally astute. She knows how to read the room, right? Sutton, bull and china shop, but she's a Virgo queen, right? She gets her point across. I don't see Sutton or Garcelle not in the middle of the conversation being like, "Are you kidding? Erica just threatened me. How are you calling Garcelle a bully?" But the fact that we don't see that leads me to believe that the producers are chopped and screwing up all the footage so that they just have that thing. Because I mean, what do you guys think? There's nothing in Garcelle or Sutton's personalities that don't lead me to believe that they won't call people and hold them accountable.
So wait. So you're saying when the frustrations that we have as viewers, you're saying that the girls also feel frustrated and they call them out on it, but we don't see it on the TV.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know because I wasn't there filming the scene. Yeah. But from what I see about Garcelle and what I see about Sutton and what the hypocrisy, I just can't imagine in the same table when they're calling Garcelle a bully, Sutton being like, but what about Erica? Like, what just happened? The fact that we only see like these, I feel like it's a 3-hour scene and then they just sit there, you know how the editing, and they just start chopping it up because they have a narrative they wanted to do.
Oh, okay. I think so.
I don't know if it will work, but I would love to see, like, maybe that's why Big Brother. Hold on, guys, I have to get my charger. Hold on, really quick. Okay. But I'll leave you with this. I'm just going to turn my camera for a second. I see why Big Brother is so alluring. I never watched it, but I can now see why people really get into it for reality TV, because like it or hate it, you are watching people. Hey, what's up, Kelly, Steve? You are watching people being a more authentic version. I'm just going to turn my camera off and go get my charger. Sorry, guys.
For me, what happens, I feel like there is one common thread between Lisa Rinna's hate towards Denise and Lisa Rinna's hate. I'm going to call it hate because that's hate towards Garcelle. They have jobs. Like today, see that. No, serious. Today you could see that and feel that when Garcelle came back from filming the reel, and And what's her name? Lisa asked her, "Oh, how was your job? Good." Like, she is pissed that she's not the one that landed a daytime talk show, because that's the
But
dream
she,
of
well, you know what I was going to say too. You're right. She used to have a. I used to watch this show called on SoapNet, and here in America we have a all soap channel 24/7. She had a show there, and she said she loved it. And you know, for years she was trying to work on Regis and Kelly. You know, she wanted to be like the Kelly rip apart, but it never worked out. So, do you think that you in Hollywood, most actresses are very competitive with each other? You think that Lisa Rinna maybe is very competitive with other actresses?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think she is pissed that Garcelle, she is a producer, that Garcelle, she built her home on her own and she has jobs, and she just booked the dream job, The Real. And Garcelle, she and Ebony are two faces of the same coin. These two, I don't think they edited them out.
Yeah.
Poise, it's the self-control that they show, which is for me super natural.
Yeah.
Like, they are just conditioned to take jabs, to take racial slurs and macro aggressions, and be calm and collected, because as Black women they cannot show any
That's
type of
that's
feelings,
true.
because they will be called aggressive, or they will
You
be, "Oh, why are you like that? Why are you yelling? Why are you coming at me?"
That's true. I was gonna, but you're right. But you remember when Eileen was there, who I love. She grew on me. But remember when she first came to the show, she won an Emmy, and then the scene, it felt like Lisa Rinna could barely tell her how wonderful for you. I think you're right. She's
She's
very, yeah, competitive. Because I think with Eileen, she was so smart. I think Lisa was scared of Eileen because Eileen would have basically pulled her together because she went up against LVP. So Eileen was not scared of anybody. Maybe that's why she didn't mess with her.
I think Lisa has something to do with Eileen not coming back, because of the competition, and because she must have been pissed with Eileen. How come you didn't invite me to be a guest in Days of Our Lives, but you invited
On
Erica?
Young and Restless, yeah.
Yeah, on the Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless or Days of Our Lives? I
She
forgot.
worked on both. Eileen worked on Young and Restless most of the time.
Yeah, but like, where did Erica Jane go? Because
Young and Restless.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
so there you have it. So I feel like there's a lot of jealousy between, like, they have jobs and I don't, and they have the job that I want. And couple that with, like, she's part of a crew of the Mean Girls, and she is just thriving in it, and she doesn't see how she's coming off. For her to come so hard at Garcelle for like not liking
But
the way takes over conversations, but not be outraged by the lack of empathy that
you have. I was gonna
like,
say you're right. I was gonna say, did you ever watch her on Apprentice? Because I want to say this. Back in the day, I have a little scoop, well, maybe not a scoop. She is the queen of microaggressions. I remember when she was up there with Nene and Dionne Warwick and all of
yeah,
them. She said to them in the interview, she said, "I'm not going to be beat by these sisters." Now, I think that she meant sisters in a derogatory way. Also, when she was dealing with Star Jones, who's another Black woman, Star Jones behind the scenes said, literally, "This woman is crazy, almost crazy like she was with Kim. I need to get a restraining order on her." And I think the restraining order still is
Who
is
are we
in.
talking about? Sorry, I just popped in.
Oh yeah,
Who?
well no, I was telling Miss Mariam that, and back in the, well, we were talking about Lisa Rinna's microaggressions, and I was saying back on The Apprentice,
Mm.
when she was being beat by Dionne Warwick and Nene Leakes and Star Jones, she went to the camera and said, "I'm not going to be beat by these sisters." Now she probably wanted to say the N word, but she said sisters. Now, when it came to Star Jones, she was so obsessed with Star Jones, almost like the way she was with Kim Richards, that Star Jones behind the scenes had to get a restraining order against her, which I think still holds up to this day.
yeah.
What?
Yeah. So Star Jones got a restraining order against Lisa Rinna because Lisa Rinna used to text her, show up, and do things, and yeah. So
I did not know this. First of all, Callie, Steve, thank you so much for the super chat. We follow each other on Instagram, by the way.
yeah,
San Diego's finest, stand up, Callie, Steve.
yeah,
So, but
Yeah.
like
yeah. So
all,
Lisa
I
Rinna
did
had her.
not know
So,
that.
yeah, so we talking about Black women. So it's funny that all these years later, here she's having an issue with Garcelle, who's another Black woman. But yes, and her history with Black women in the past is very dicey. Let's put it that way, very dicey with Black women.
Yeah, but I was telling him
Wow.
that there is something here, like, about Lisa's hate. I called it hate towards Denise and towards Garcelle. For me, that hate is really jealousy that they
Yeah.
don't have the jobs that she want. Like Denise, she was really filming. So she wasn't available to film with the ladies all the time because she was filming shows and movies at the same time. And then now Garcelle, she landed the dream job of Lisa. When she came late into this retreat that they're having now, the ladies. She asked her, "Oh, so how was your job?" Like it was
Yeah.
like forced, and it feels like this is her real problem with Garcelle. Garcelle is now on the real, and Garcelle, she is like just
They were so jealous.
yeah.
Remember when she started? Sorry, Mariam, I'll let you keep going, but I
Yeah.
just remember their faces when they found out she was on the real. Jealousy be thy name. They couldn't see it,
Right.
right?
But
It's
you know
all
what? Y'all was talking about the scene too.
T Love, I did. Sorry, T Love, I
Yeah.
did see it. I'm gonna do a video about that and post it. Don't worry, I got you, T Love. But go
Oh,
on.
wonderful, wonderful. I was gonna say the scene that Jill was talking about with she was saying allegedly. I'm not a beach person myself, so I wanted to know when they were sitting next to the sails and everything like that. I was thinking, Captain Hilton, this is the best you could do. That beach must smell smelly. It must be wet. It must be creepy. The food must be terrible. Like, how can we sit on the beach in the middle of all these animals and be trying to eat in a nasty part of the beach? I just thought that was like this is crazy. Why would they sit down there?
I
yeah.
know where they were in San Diego too. They were in, I want to say La Jolla. That's
Oh,
where they went to, and they were sitting around. But but anyway, Mariam, I'm sorry.
yeah.
You were saying, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Mariam.
Well, this what Kathy did is a show, just to piggyback on what he said right now. But my point is that like they are all jealous of Garcelle. That and Garcelle, she's a professional, just like Ebony. They're used to being attacked, to be singled out, to be different because of their success. Usually, they really are the minority. Like up there are not as many talented lawyers or that are gorgeous and smart and kind at the same time. So they are masters in not showing their emotions. And this is why I think it's not editing with Garcelle, neither with Sutton. She proved, I think by now, she would have showed some frustration even after. She's really so poised. She's rich. She doesn't need to sweat these little things. And when she was calling out Lisa for the $10,000, it was like, "Oh, you took my Sour Patch Kids bag, candy bag." It wasn't
Yeah.
like all that money. So I feel like there is no editing out their reaction. I just feel like Sutton, she's like that. And what's her name? And Garcelle, she's a pro. She's used to getting beat up, and she has to get it back up and rise
Yeah.
up them all. I don't think they edited Garcelle at all. And there's jealousy. They all want a talk show. They all want jobs, and especially she wants to be a producer. Who's the producer there? Garcelle is a producer. She's producing a movie that because of COVID, I
Is
don't know
she?
if they're doing or not, but yeah. So I feel like
Nice.
jealousy, and then couple that
When
with
Garcelle producing the movie, maybe we all can get parts in the movie
I know. I'll be in the background, like.
yeah,
because
I
we
would be
love her.
very
Yeah.
But so quick question though. Since you guys are both my resident housewives historians, Callie Steve makes it into a point. He said Brenda and Denise were never friends. Do you guys remember that to be the fact that they were never friends? I thought they were pretty close.
Well, so that's the thing. So I want to say this. So Lisa, what happened? You said Lisa and Denise were never friends, right?
Yeah, Callie Steve says that they were never
Okay,
friends.
so this is what Lisa Rinna said on Watch What Happened Live a couple of weeks ago. And I remember telling friends of mine, I was thinking, okay, so if this is the new rule of the show, please, Lisa Rinna, never come to my face and say, I'm your sister. Trust me. Tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. Because the simple fact is the only person she's friends with is Erica. She told Denise Richards last year, I'm your sister. I'm your friend. You can trust me. So now when the people are saying she basically betrayed her, what she did, and you're cowering towards Erica, she went to Andy and said, she was never my friend. We just were acquaintance. And actually, I'm only an acquaintance with Garcelle. We've known each other for 20 years, but we're not really friends the way I am with Erica. So going forward, if she makes it to next year, the women who are opposing her should say, please, Lisa Rinna, never get in my face and tell me you're my sister, because I don't believe you. Because that was a trick.
Well, okay, but to that point, didn't Garcelle do that at the beginning of the season? And Rinna's been gunning for her ever since.
That's true.
I really do think that's why, even the way Rinna was sitting there enjoying it as Garcelle was being torn apart at the table. Rinna is vindictive. The more I hear about Rinna, what you guys told me and what I already know, there seems to be something a little off with Rinna. Like,
Kim Richards, I love Kim Richards because she's so funny. When there's reunion, she said, I bet you if we look in your history, we would have found that you were choking somebody. I mean, Kim Richards, we need her. Nobody ever gave it to Lisa Rinna the way Kim Richards did. Nobody ever did.
Richards back.
Oh, yes.
We do.
We need Kim Richards and we need Camille. And remember the scene that Kyle was, and everybody was confronting Garcelle because of that headline that the women are coming after me. Do you remember how Lisa, she stayed with Eric at the table and she was making fun? Oh, nobody stands up for you.
Yes.
So like she's addictive.
So how could this episode, last episode was that she come this episode and say, oh, you saying that you don't feel comfortable with us? I'm thinking, wait a minute, you just saw her in the group last week with all the people going against her. So how can you ask the question? I think that would be frustrating.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. Now, really quick, and so I have you guys' minds focused right there. The next part that happens in the scene was there was a different scene where it was being explained to Sutton that Erica said that she didn't want anything to do with her. The person that delivered that was Crystal. What? Crystal, I've never seen somebody so delighted to deliver such a nasty message. Yeah. She was so delighted I'm telling you, Crystal is an inner mean girl, and she is gunning for a seat at the popular girls table. The only thing is, Kyle looks at her as a threat because Crystal and Kathy are buddies. All the stuff knows her. She's invited over to play tennis. She refers to her as her sister. So I can see Kyle already being like, no. But also to the fact of Erica wasn't even checking for Crystal until that thing was set and the tide turned. Then all of a sudden she was being so sweet and nice to Crystal.
That's right.
She was up Sutton's ass all the time because she was getting something from her. Sutton offered her money because she said, as a woman going through divorce, you always have to have a friend ready to lend you money when you need a cushion. And I offered myself to be that friend to her. So that happened. And she goes down, watch what happens live. And I don't regret it because like, this is what I need.
But I was going to say, I wanted to tap into both my wonderful panelists right now, your woman intuition, and because this is my curiosity for Miss Mariam, for Tisa, my curiosity. So, Crystal, she confuses me, but I'm not a woman, so I would love your perspective. Is it possible? Because I want to play devil advocate. Is it possible that a woman could be violated, traumatized, or something in her past? So when somebody comes, okay, Miss Tisa. So when somebody comes into a room and you feel exposed, you feel totally exposed. Do you think that if she truly feels that way, that's why she's gunning for Sutton? Like yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, I'll give you my honest opinion. Listen, I know that there can be deep-rooted trauma. So just from her saying she's been exposed and freaking out over it and not letting it go, I'm not going to take that away from her. But when you look at the totality of all her actions toward her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that she cannot stand Sutton, but I think the reason she can't stand Sutton is because Crystal talks about her childhood a little bit. She was the only Asian a little girl there. She was teased. She was excluded. I get that, right? Definitely, I can feel that pain. But I also think that Crystal, to Steve's point, she has a dry personality. She's very straightforward. She has no tact. I do believe that Crystal is an awkward personality. No shade. I'm an awkward personality too. I've just learned to lean into it. And I'm like, this is what I get. I think that there's a part of Crystal that looks at Sutton and sees that awkward type of thing that's never going to fit in, and it gives her great hate. I think that she looks at Sutton and sees the part of her she wishes she could get rid of, and that makes her go at Sutton even harder. That's why I think she doesn't like Sutton.
Doesn't like Sutton is because she's intimidated by Sutton. Because Sutton has money in her own right, meaning she did that, all that money, and she was married with the man before he had money, as opposed to Crystal. She came on to a rich man. And Crystal, she is, for me, it's really just being a mean girl, and it's her way of fitting in. She goes, since I have as much money as they would like to have, that's my in into this group. And the Crystal, in her confessional, she totally took Erica's side, saying Sutton said a lot and Erica heard a lot, like, meaning, like, are you kidding me? Like, like, this is like, I feel like it's the typical case of, like, not all women are supportive of women, so you don't need to be a man to put
this is true.
So you can have here the same situation. As much as she is obviously a minority in the show, but just because she's so privileged now and she wants to fit in, she wants to forget her humble roots, and she flaunts everything that she uses, to the point that she priced the reno of her basement, which for me is tacky. Only people with new money do that. People with real money, there's no numbers. They would never mention that. So
What's so funny? So I cut her. So I was dragging her for that because she did it on camera. But
yeah,
I do sometimes have a tendency to mention money, but that's because I think you genuinely care how much it costs. You know what I'm saying?
but we are different. I mention money and I brag as when I get a deal.
Everybody brags. So you get something new. You're like, do you like this? Yeah, it was on
But you
sale
know what?
2,800. I loved it.
Yeah, but I think that you. Yeah, I was gonna.
When you get to that level of wealth, that doesn't fly. That shows that you're nouveau riche, that you don't have old money. You know what I mean?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True. Now, here's an interesting point that ACE brought up. He said, in relation to Crystal, do you think she was traumatized? He said no, because if she did feel violated, she most certainly contradicted herself by downplaying the Me Too movement. This is true.
Oh, that's true.
This is true. Good point, ACE.
Absolutely. And you know what? I bet you at the reunion, this is my prediction. They already taped it because we don't do. Well, maybe we do prediction now. I bet you when. Because at times when it come up, most of the beginning of the season was about Sutton and them violation. Yes, she should be. She should be. But I bet you at the reunion, Crystal, I maybe will divulge a secret of her past life and how she felt violated, and that violation is going to be the blanket she uses to protect herself and crucifying Sutton.
Let me tell you something. I am so sick, and I'll probably use this excuse next week. So, but for right now, I am so sick of people hiding behind their trauma.
The trauma. Right? Trauma.
Now, here's the thing. Your trauma is your trauma, and yes, this could thing. But when you literally start taking your trauma out on other people and then you hide behind it, that's what really gets me. Yeah. That's what I mean about hide. The way Crystal, she could, like, you know, the way you're just like, you say something and someone's like, I can't do this because I've been this. And it's just like, no, because we all know there's two different things. What's good for the goose is not good for the gander, right? We all know that people can be hypocrites, but the fact as soon as you say it, it just puts a cloak. Let's see if she actually brings something out. But then to ACE's point, if she does, well, Andy's follow-up be like, well, you said like the Me Too and it doesn't affect anybody. So what's the big deal, you know? Right. Meanwhile, she's making watermelon mojitos online. And I'm like, is anyone paying attention to what this girl is doing?
Yeah,
I know, terrible.
I am, because she took Erica's side the moment she realized that, oh, just because you're associated, of course, she doesn't like Sutton because they wear butting hats from the beginning. So there's an extreme dislike there. Yes. And then when Sutton, she was like, oh, we cannot be associated with people because we're going to be dragged into it, maybe legally as well as to being deposed. She goes like, she felt that hit home for her because her husband was working closely with tons of people implicated and found guilty in the Me Too movement. So she wanted, it was kind of a way, oh, my husband, he worked with Me Too movement, with people involved in Me Too scandal, but nothing fazed us. So she's like, it's kind of like she's bringing that up to make her husband innocent, which he is. I hope he is. I don't know if there's something there, but this is how she found this connection with Erica, and even more reinforcing her dislike towards Sutton. So they have a common enemy there, and then it hit home because of her husband's dealings with the people who were in the Me Too scandal, and the abusers.
Yeah.
So she said, "Oh, that doesn't mean like, oh, because if what you're saying is true, it means that my husband is, and my husband isn't. So, girl, check yourself."
But
That's what.
Wait, so not to interrupt you, Diva 1675 makes a good point, right? The clique always comforted Sutton when it was Crystal versus Sutton. I do remember that. I do even remember when Crystal came over with her leather pants and she tried to sit down with Erica and them. Erica got up and was like, "I'm just gonna go check on Sutton," and they all got up and left her, and that's why she was standing there. That look on her face, I was like, oh my God, that's like every 8th grade cafeteria horror story. Just standing there by yourself and someone says you look stupid, right? But Diva goes on to say, but suddenly the mean girls like Crystal. I hope Crystal will get on board with Garcelle and Sutton side the next season. I don't think that she will. Again, she wants to be part of the Beverly Hills clique.
I was going to say this is so. I was going to say this is just so interesting. I'm going to just make a little. I want to stick to the subject. But I want to say one thing that maybe we jumping around, but the part I laugh hard, and this is why I think Kim Richards is such an icon. Cal Richards offering the bread to Lisa Rinna, and she said, "Why don't you have a piece of bread and shove it?" And they cut right to Kim Richards with the bread in Amsterdam. That thing made me laugh, dying laughing. I said, "No, she
Richards was so funny." I've never seen somebody take on a table full of people and annihilate each and every one. It was like Street Fighter, and Kim Turner was like, "Come on!" and they just couldn't defeat her. It was amazing.
even when they drew the glass at her, she was still ready to throw down. Still,
Listen,
Kim Richards. Oh my God!
I've never seen when Lisa went what looked like to choke Kim. Kim leaned into it. She was sitting on ready. She wanted all the smoke. And I said, that's a Virgo queen. But when Virgos get in it, they want all the smoke. Like, let's go.
She brought up that bread. She said, eat the bread. I was like, oh my gosh.
I think Crystal doesn't see herself, although she cooks Asian, she brings up the Asian culture. I don't think when she looks at the mirror, she sees Asian because she's not behaving as a minority representing her minority. She's not doing them justice. I'm not saying that she needs to represent them, but just the privilege that she's showing doesn't go along with her being a minority that was being portrayed at the beginning. You just said and pointed out something very, very important. They were all supporting Sutton when it was Sutton versus Crystal. So now Crystal, she just wants to be a part of the group. So she's saying, I don't understand how Garcelle doesn't feel included. Hello, if you're really a minority, if you really felt all this discriminated in your life, how can you not understand what Garcelle is going through? You're supposed to be sisters.
You know what, though? I get what you're saying, Mariam. I mean, to the point of, I think she lives in a thing of privilege. I think every minority, it's because as minorities, we know it's separated by social economic class too, right?
That's right.
Somebody that and I'm not even trying to be funny. Somebody's parents who, work in like the bodega or the Asian market or whatever, it's treated differently than somebody whose parents owns like half of Fifth Avenue, right?
That's true.
To that point, I think Crystal's just being willfully oblivious. She knows exactly what is going on, but she also thinks that if she brings it up, it's going to make her an outcast. She looks at like somebody like Garcelle saying this, and I feel like Crystal, when she looked at her, was feeling like, oh, Garcelle's pulling the race card. I don't want to pull the race card. I mean, yeah, common logic is Crystal. Like, what are you doing? But Crystal knows she's just being willfully oblivious because she wants to get Sutton out of there. And she wants to be part, and she wants to be part of the clique, and she's willing to overlook it. Now, the scary part about people like this, and I don't think it has to do with her being a real Asian, because like, who knows? Like the way an Asian person is like a real Asian, right? But to your point, Mariam, I do look at, it's a dangerous game because when you're fighting to sit at that table, now you're sitting at that table and they're sitting there overlooking microaggressions and this and that. It's like, Crystal, what is the actual goal? So you can be around people that disregard you, but maybe she's one of those people that thinks everybody's a little racist and I'll just disregard that stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? I've met people that think black people are like, everyone's a little racist. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't hang around me. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Yeah. It's like,
I think Rachel is a mean girl. She's just mean, and she found her soulmates, and she wants to be part of that group because she was always in the shadow of her husband, and now all of a sudden she's cooking on Instagram and she has all these followers, so she's enjoying the fame. But unfortunately, she is going the wrong road.
I agree. I agree. And they will remind you really quick, you're not one. Socioeconomic, who does know. Again, I think their goal is to bring back the Fox Force 5. Now, listen, let's talk about Erica sitting in her glam squad. So if you guys don't know, there's a scene that opens up and Erica's sitting there and she's chilling and she says, oh, thank you very much. Beautiful. Erica still has her glam squad. You guys, we need to actually talk about this. And I'm just going to take things deep for a minute and then we'll move back out to light stuff, right? I saw a lot of people commenting about that poor girl that's shown she was missing. And then it showed that, unfortunately, she's not alive anymore. It was the hands of the guy that she was with or whatnot. And a lot of people said like, oh, you know, this is about the disappearing white woman syndrome where they care more. And they were doing, I said, okay, this is a sick way to bring it up because why are you bringing it up in a relation to another person that is dead, was murdered, right? And I get your point, but wrong time, right? But how can people get that deep into it? But we're not talking about how I look at the micro things because it's the little things that add up. The fact that Erica Jane, I don't care if she knew at this point, but you know that your whole life is based off of stolen money, is sitting there getting her makeup done. She's doing photo ops at TJ Maxx. And everybody was like, oh, this is stupid because this is a fake op because she went to a TJ Maxx 10 miles away and she has one 2.5 miles away. To which I said, Erica has a closet full of Gucci and Prada. I know for a fact that you have clothes that you have not even touched from 2 years ago. The fact that you are, forget about where the TJ Maxx is. The fact that you are even in a TJ Maxx is laughable and is insulting to my intelligence. But getting back to the point about the glam squad, why is nobody, here's my first question. Why do you think people are not up in arms about how sick and distasteful it is? And if they are up in arms about it, do you think Bravo is doing it for shock factor? They want people to be like, oh, this is so disgusting, eat the rich. So then you turn in and you hate watch Erica Jane and you get people like me ranting about how distasteful it was that she was getting done up by her glam squad.
I don't think it's a Bravo production, but I think Bravo didn't edit that out because they know 90% of the people who are watching Beverly Hills hate watching. I'm one of them. I'm hate watching. No, I own it. You know, I feel I hate. I really don't feel good after I'm watching. I'm just excusing myself to watch because I really want to see maybe some resolve. But I feel like enough is enough. Like we are given viewership for a woman that's being like glamorizing, like being like stolen money, and nobody's saying a word. I feel like that really happened. And Bravo let it in because they don't care if it's a like or dislike. Just like you say, Tessa, if someone presses the dislike here, they're helping you.
And so hit the dislike button. There's 165 in you here. There better be 165 likes. Let me go check.
Oh my God, I didn't like the video yet. I will like it later.
I did. As soon as I got here.
I didn't like my own video. I'm going to give myself a thumbs down. Let's see.
But this is the thing. Bravo is thriving on the hate watching about Jan Shah, about they thought and about in New York. Everybody was hate watching, but then again, it came off so hard because they were really catering to Ramona's. Like for them not to have a reunion without Ramona. Just have a reunion. If
they you know what, they did it one year without Luann. They sure could have did without Ramona. And I think that. So what you were saying about the glam squad, I think that I just think that Bravo is messy. At the end of the day, it's just a messy channel. It's not politically correct, and it's just just what it is. And I also think it becomes, I think what Mariam was saying, for me, sometimes it becomes very fatiguing. It becomes very tired emotionally. I know last year with Potomac, I was exhausted after every Sunday I watched it. So
Were you
this year,
really?
Oh,
you know
yes.
what? Can I tell you? I
I
know.
was alive. I
Okay,
loved
so
it.
I wish I would have known you. I wish I would have known you then because I just a little tangent. I love Monique, loved her. But then last year I did not like her because I felt like, and I'm not sure who's listening or who's watching. My honest opinion, I feel like she brought up all the bloggers. I feel like every blogger that she communicated with and talked to, she brought them up. So when the reviews happened, it was so harsh against Candace. I felt personally there was two ladies who had a misunderstanding because of Giselle. I feel like Giselle was very responsible for that, but that's a whole nother show. But I would say with Beverly Hills, this season is exhausting. So, okay, I'm gonna say to two of you. So I don't know how you feel, but if you all ever have friends who are not going to do criminal charges, but every time they come around, they are so sad, so draining, so frustrating. Even as a viewer, to see Erica come up with a new story, it's like, oh my God, girl, you're just draining me. You're such a Debbie Downer. I know your life is going through problems, but you're so, you know how you like happy and then somebody comes along and they just sort of sop your energy with all this sort of negativity. It feels like Erica is such a negative lady that just watching it makes you feel a little heavy. She's such a
Wait,
negative
hold on.
person.
Just to interject, Callie Steve, because we want to give Crystal a fair due, said Crystal has talked about racism amongst her friends and spoke about this on the Juicy Scoop. He said it was a good interview and she did a good job. She was down to earth and straightforward. But hold on really quick, Mariam. But this brings me into what Diva said, right? Diva said, do you think Teddy told Crystal to stick with the Mean Girls to survive? Teddy has been her friend for 10 years.
Probably.
You know, because if Callie Steve's saying that like Crystal came as down to her and she understands what microaggressions and racism is, okay, so now maybe she's just playing the game too, and she wants that second season.
But that's it. Like, where is the Crystal that wasn't Juicy Scoop? Where is she on the show?
True.
She's not there, unavailable. But just to your point about Potomac, Candace, she let herself be played by Giselle. Giselle is the real culprit there. If
No.
ever wait, I'm not talking about the final altercation. There's a lot of things that led, and talk about editing. They left the live out where Candace, from her own mouth, and she fixed the effect so that she looks good, because she kept saying, I want to look cute. She was saying there was a meeting.
She said
there was
plot.
a plot.
She went like this, a plot, because Monique had referred to a plot in a prior live, and then Candace came on and said plot. She was using it as a term of art. But even then, Mariam, the whole thing between Candace, Monique, being Giselle's cat's paw, whatever, an altercation happened. It went too far. Why couldn't Monique just apologize? Monique is her own worst enemy. Why didn't you just apologize? Because at the end of the day, even that plot, Candace told Karen to tell Monique about it, because Candace and Monique weren't speaking. So she even had enough say to be like, yo, tell her, even though we're not friends, I want her to know that they're plotting.
You know what I was going to say too, but do we see similarities? Do we see similarities in Monique and Erica and also Jen? That they're so hard-headed.
Hold on, Mariam. I want to hear Mel's point. What similarities do you see?
Well, I was going to say that for me, that these characters, like, so if something happens wrong, and we as viewers see it, like you were just saying, maybe somebody can apologize, whatever. I feel like that Monique last year, Erica this year, Jen this year, they are so polarizing and so hard. It's like, sit back, take a breath, and notice that you don't have to be so hard about everything. That's what I feel.
Sorry, Mariam. So what were you saying?
But what I'm going to say here is this. What Monique was suffering.
There's more coming.
She was hearing. There was a lot of words in the street, and it was talking about the paternity of her child. So please, we cannot take that.
She knew that those were no, Mariam. She knew the rumors were coming from Giselle, and she was sitting there kikiing, planning Ashley's party with her. You cannot get mad at the person who told you about the rumors, but then kiki and try to be friends with the person that started the rumors.
And this is what I'm going to tell you. I was going to say that it wasn't only Candace who was played by Giselle. Monique was too. Both of them. They could have sat down because there was a real friendship there. And Candice stopped like digging Monique when she decided to become friends with Ashley, because Candice does not like Ashley. And let's
wait a second, Mariam. I have to interrupt. Mariam, listen, this is the last minute. We're gonna move on, but I have to interrupt Mariam.
Okay, come on.
Hold on.
Okay.
Mariam, I have to interrupt because she got mad at Monique because Monique was two-faced. Ashley started rumors about Monique that said that she was a lush, she was a drunk, and the reason she had a miscarriage is because she was drunk and went off the road. But then Candice and Ashley got into a beef. This is where the beef officially became permanent because she went in there and was defending Monique against Ashley. Monique then turned around and said, "Oh, I forgive you." And she found it in her heart to forgive Ashley for saying that the reason she had spreading rumors that the reason she had a miscarriage is because she was drunk, she was drinking, and she got into a car accident. Let me tell you something. If you can forgive Ashley, then explain why Candice got dragged across the thing.
Okay.
I don't care. And again, the issue with Monique wasn't even the fact that she put hands on her. It's the fact that she wouldn't apologize and she started paying all the blogs off. It was insane.
Monique, she thought that the hand that hit her was Candice's when it
No
was
hand hit her. Of course, when people are going to hit you, when you drag somebody across the table.
You know what?
Like every time I'm trying to say, you guys are not letting me finish. Listen, here's the thing. For me, I feel like Monique was under attack, not only by Giselle, but by the network as well. And that carried through, wait a second. That carried through the reunion. Monique was put in a hotel on her own, and they talk about macroaggression.
That was for insurance purposes, Mariam. Monique identified herself as a danger. That was for insurance purposes.
You know what?
That's me here. Yeah. So how is it that they we talk about macroaggressions? It's easy when it's the white person doing it, but sometimes black people do towards each other. Giselle bringing a security guard to the talk when they talk in front of the camera.
That was a microaggression.
Yeah, that was.
Mariam, that's not a microaggression. No, a microaggression is passive aggressive. Somebody bringing security officers and saying, "I don't feel safe." That's not a microaggression. That's outright hostility.
Wait a second. No. Wait a second. Worse than that has happened before, and nobody said a word. And in other franchises.
But here's the thing, Mariam. All things can be true. Yes, there was microaggression. Yes, Giselle played Monique. Yes, Monique got treated bad.
Both of them. That's the problem.
But Mariam.
But I was going to say, ladies, you know what? But Miss Mariam, you know what I was going to say, ladies? You know what? Well, let's just finish the recap of Beverly Hills.
Excuse me, y'all. This is my channel. We'll finish when I'm done. Thank you for butting in. But what I'm trying to say is all things can be true. Monique was treated badly. Monique did get played. And guess what? Monique was dead wrong for putting her hands on putting her hands on Candice. All those things are true, but the way she treated Candice was very wrong. So in that little thing, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, like, she was like, they let Giselle bring the security guard to Candice's house, and they let Giselle bring the security to the reunion. How does that look when it's about, she's scared of a black man? Of a big black man. There were things that were let slide by, that they are hard. I'm not saying, I never said that Monique was right about putting her hands on anybody, because at the end of the day, she's the one who lost the most. She lost her cool, and that's not cool. I'm not saying that, but we cannot like just look at her reaction without seeing to what she was subject. Someone talking about the paternity of your child, that cuts deep. And if she decided for some reason, which in my belief is strategic, to forgive Ashley, this is where like Candice should say, okay, fine. So you forgive her, it's fine. So it's not Candice's battle to fight. If the one who got hurt decided to forgive, so why is it upon you to demand from her, hey, I fought with her for you. I do that mistake. I take my friends.
Because if we are talking about it, depending on where you raised.
Yes.
It wasn't the fact that she decided to be friends with Ashley. It's the fact that from what I saw from the rest of the season, right? She started throwing Candace underneath the bus because all the ladies, including Ashley, were gunning to get Candace out of there. All of them. So it's like, okay,
Oh, that's
fine.
true.
You
That's
join,
true.
yeah,
Yes,
you
yes, yes,
join
yes.
friends with my enemy. I can accept that. But now I see you actively playing a role. And again, that's all fair fodder for a reality show. When I come to Monique, yes, Bravo gave her a wrong deal, I believe.
They stopped filming.
Yes, Giselle did that stuff. Yes, all these people, yes, they were plotting. But Candace only defended you. She never spoke a bad word about you. She had your back when everybody else was calling you every drunk lush having a miscarriage in the world. She even told you, even though you guys weren't on good terms, the plot against you with Robin and Giselle. Had she not opened her mouth, Monique never would have saw this coming.
True.
She never would. So from all that, and here's the thing, I'm a loyal person. I can take care of myself. But if I do all that and the way you repay me is to take your aggression out on me, all
Absolutely.
these things,
Yes.
that's like you coming home from a
Yeah.
rough day and punching me in the face. I understand the world's been hard to you and your boss hates you and but I didn't do shit to you. I made you dinner and you punched me in the face?
That's
No,
right.
no.
Telling you, it's like it was misdirected.
Yeah,
It
Giselle
was
was the one.
misdirected.
Giselle was
Why?
the one. Yeah.
And all Monique had to do, which I still don't understand, and we'll get back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but
Okay,
it's just
Miss
like,
Tisa.
why did that's right, my channel, everybody.
Come on, girl.
So,
Come on.
we're
I
going to
hear
talk
you.
about gummy bears next.
Come
Ready?
on, Miss
No,
Tisa.
we're
Okay.
good. No, but honestly,
Tried
I
to
just don't understand why
apologize,
Monique couldn't
but
apologize.
by then she
Yeah.
had been served by papers from Candace's
Yeah,
lawyer
no.
of a lawsuit, civil lawsuit. This
Yeah.
is where she lawyered up.
No. So
I know law
saying
like the
that-
back of my hand, Mariam. You can apologize. It actually helps in a lawsuit when you say, listen, I do feel like you provoked me. I do feel like this. I apologize deeply for hurting you. You can apologize and still
yeah.
fight. No, you guys, I do know this about law. You can apologize and still fight your case. That excuse Monique gave, every lawyer was looking like, girl, no.
That's
And then
right.
what happened when the case was settled? When
Come
the
on
case was
now.
settled, why didn't she apologize?
That's right. That's right.
But
And
there's-
you know what? I have a point too. I want because I since we on this, I had to just make a little quick point. So Candace herself, I love that you brought that up, Tisa. Candace came into the season. That season, she got her ass whooped. I'm going to put it that way. She got her butt whooped. The girls were against her because Giselle said, "Oh my God, you made fun of my house. I'm living with my kids." Everybody was against her. So what happened was she went to Ashley and was like, "Okay, I don't like this woman. I don't respect her. But guess what? I'm going to respect her marriage. I'm going to show her love. I'm going to show this. I'm going to talk to my girlfriend Monique with the cameras off and say, listen, what you talking about? Sharice came to where? I don't know what you're talking about, girl. I'm too busy." And Monique was laughing. Monique had issues with Giselle. So at the beginning of the series, the same rumors that was happening at the baby shower, guess what? They did the same thing to Candace. They said at the party, listen, we don't want to film with her on camera. We don't want to film with her. We don't want to work with her. Candace did not go to the girl and say, you tried to destroy me. She didn't go off on people. So I understand the element of the rumor, but I think the rumor was that the ex-friend that started that and Giselle ended up exploiting that. But some of the fact is, but I think that the idea that Monique, so I think the narrative that Monique was sort of teamed up by the whole cast. Candace was also teamed up by the whole cast, and she didn't flip out on the people. She just sort of took it and tried to make friends with them. So
the cast, the Green Eye Bandits, they broke the friendship between Monique and Candace.
Yeah.
They that's what
happened. But one thing I was disappointed with Monique was Miss Mariam was that we see that. Me and you see that. And me and you did not physically assault somebody out of confusion. But I wish that Monique would have, like, if she went to a reunion, they said, hey, whatever, you won the case. Nothing happened between you and Candace. Nothing happened there. So what happened when the months after the case was settled, nothing happened? Why didn't you reach out to her without the cameras around and say, you know what, girl, Giselle got me messed up. She done messed us both up. I'm so sorry I touched you. And you know what? It was the time when she was in her house and Candace walked away and said, listen, I think Candace said there's nothing Candace could have said that Monique would have went down her throat.
That's what Candace saying. Candace, but here's the thing. It's not like Candace, she was even able to receive any apology that would be served to her. She was like acting like she was traumatized, but every time that Monique tried to say something, she was like attacking her from the other side. So she didn't look
at the reunion. At the reunion,
at the
yeah.
reunion.
But yeah, I think at that time, you know what I was going to say too? I think that, as I was saying, last year, whatever year it was, when she was sitting back and the case was being settled, whatever, and then the reunion happened months after it was settled, Candace was crucified by the blogs. I mean, whether it was all about the who and all about the he and the he, the how, the what, all those people were team Monique. They loved the lady, and I loved her the first couple of seasons too. And we are now shown through different photographs and records that Monique has real strong connections with a lot of bloggers, and the same people who totally crucified
Wait a second.
Candace.
That bad? What if like she has friends that happen to be bloggers?
No. I'm saying that I felt like last year that it was not very objective. So then when Candace, so then when
my opinion wasn't formed because of the blogs. My opinion was mainly.
No, not you. No, not you. I think that most of the fan base was formed by the bloggers, and I also think that when Candace got there, she was like, you know what? I don't want to talk to her because she crucified me with her friends. So
Candace, she was never a wallflower on social media. She used to attack bloggers on their health, knowing that they're sick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she attacked Monique friends. I think she attacked Monique friends.
Okay.
Listen, and she never apologizes. Like, you guys, like, this is the thing. I wish Monique apologized, but I'm yet to see any time Candace apologize for
You're
something.
Right. You are right, Mariam. Listen, you're right. But Mariam, saying mean words, and listen, we'll move on after this, but I'll just say it's a difference of opinions. Saying mean words, coming at people, doing this, yeah, okay, fine, and even with the shade of her and Monique, it was like, ooh, but it was fine. But when you put your hands physically on someone, the rules change. That's how it is with me. Now, everybody can disagree, but when you put your hands on me, we are in new rules. You cannot say, well, you called me a B and I punched you in the face. That's not the way it works. I don't care what I said to you. You put your hands on me. It's a new world. Again, sorry to interrupt you guys. We could definitely, now we'll take Mel's advice and move on. But I will just say, this has been a debate. It is a civil war of our country. Last season, look at us. We are a house divided.
Come together
and talk about how much we can't stand Erica J. Because listen, we'll have a different live about this, but we are a house divided, and we cannot let that divide our house.
Okay, come on, Miss Tisa. Come on, Let's finish Miss Erica, right?
Yes, let's do. Well, hold on, Mariam. We'll come back to this, but let's go to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because I swear, Mariam, you will never change my mind.
No, I don't want to.
No, I know you don't want to, but I will go back and forth all day because I really truly do believe what happened last year was psychotic. You know?
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, here's the thing, right? So let's talk about when Erica. We're back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're not talking about why why Monique and Mariam are wrong. I'm just joking, right? It's time to come together. Let's heal our house, right? But listen, when she called her Miss Small-Minded, Miss Small Town, and this whole liar thing, did you think it was, do you think that this is like that buzzword that they use? Because it seems like the fact that Erica is basically spitting on Sutton in everybody's face. And then everybody's like, and she's like, no, but she called me a liar. This whole liar thing, do you think that's just code word to goddamn business?
Erica was weak in that moment. That was not even a strong read. She said that the other episode, and she tried to come back at her. And for me, it felt like Sutton was ready. She was like looking at her. She was shading her. She was on point. And Erica, all she had was small town and small mind. It was weak. It was not really important.
For me, before going ahead, if we have difference of opinions, I will never conflate the opinion with the person. I love you both, and we can agree to disagree, and that's why we're here.
Of course.
I love it.
Whoever thinks that we do not have to be like one color. We can see things differently. Maybe the attack on motherhood, like for me, it triggers me. And I don't like it, and maybe that's what I'm giving more weight. But moving on to Erica.
Yes. Moving on.
That was an elitist comment. when you call someone new small town, like, where did you come from? From the preface of your friendship with Sutton, you always used to say you both connect because you both are Georgia peaches. You both are from Georgia, from, can we say white Georgia? Because both of them are white. And now you're calling her small town. That's so elitist. Like, she's like, oh, now you have money. You forgot your roots. You forgot that you worked in a go-go bar in New Jersey, the same one that Danielle Staub worked at. Like,
Oh wait, that's true. I thought that was just a rumor. Did she really work in a go-go?
This is
Okay.
why I feel like, and that's that we digress, but not really. This is why I feel like Andy Cohen, he also like did really dismiss the victims when he was dismissing the documentary, the White Housewife.
Mm-hmm.
Because he goes, oh really, is that what they're opening the act with Dana Wilkie and Danielle Staub? Who are these people? Oh, they're the professionals in housewife history. They brought Danielle for the shock factor, and because Danielle is one that married wrong. If she married right, she would be an Eric. Both of them worked not in the same time, but they work in the same go-go bar in New Jersey. That is a known fact. It has been talked before this. This is why they brought Danielle Staub, for the shock factor, and because there is that common thread that they worked in the same strip club. But Erica, she moved then to LA and she made a deal with the devil. And you know what? This is where she ended. She lived like a glamorous life. Meanwhile, Danielle Staub, she did, it was bad. So one went wrong, one went right. Just like, like, what do you think? Like, how is when did it? How did it start, and how is it going? Kind of. So that's why they brought her up. But they worked in the same strip club, and that was very elitist of her. And this is what makes me think. I think she still has money. Of course, it's hidden, and because who is paying for all that? Who's paying for her shack in Hollywood?
Well, the Reddit gossip blogs are saying, and now this is pure gossip and speculation and innuendo, right?
We love it.
But I do think that it's who is it? Hold on a second. Sorry. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, Lordy.
Okay.
So I'll just say this. Okay, what we were talking about. Yeah, I just think that read was whack. It was so weak. It was like, okay, Erica. I think Erica was actually surprised that Sutton was not flustered. I think maybe that was why her reads were so weak, because she was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't scare her tonight. She's not running."
Yeah.
No, but even she wasn't as much as she was scared inside. She wasn't, because she stayed sitting down there, and then nobody went for her rescue when she left. And today, can we just mention who brought the topic up? Was Kathy Hilton. So Kathy, she's not. She's
delivery. Hi, is there a delivery downstairs for me?
Oh God.
You brought it up for the whole class? What's going on?
Here's the thing. She's the one who brought up the subject. Did you notice that, Mel?
Yeah.
She's the one. Oh, really? You're the one who.
Oh, they did.
Do we think that was a producer? We think that a producer, because you know what? She's been so quiet. She's not been interactive. She, even in her interviews, if you've seen interviews on Bravo.com, she said, you know what? I don't really know her, and I'm just watching. So I was shocked that she was actually participating.
Oh, she was. I'm telling you, it's a plot. It's an agreement between her and Kyle. This reconciliation is benefiting both of them. After the loss of LVP, Kyle's popularity really went to the dumpster. So now
that's true.
Available because of
it did.
Of Kathy. And Kathy is the one who brought up the subject today. For someone that don't know Erica and wants peace and shuts down, she brought up the subject.
So you know what? And now, again, I don't want to talk about Potomac, but I'm just going to say one thing, not about the last year. But so what's so crazy with me with these producers is, even with Mia this Sunday, she did something Giselle normally do, which is she asked Candace's mother about something. So I'm thinking, even when we was at the table with Kathy, for her to ask that question, I thought that was something Rena would do. And so it just seemed disjointed. It was like, wow, what is going on here? They just given the script to different characters.
They take turns.
Okay. Yeah.
Up. and it's an alliance. Although Kathy doesn't want to be shown as part of the alliance, but she's completely playing to the tune. And also, like, I didn't like when Kathy did that mini spa day just to comfort Erica. Erica threatened Sutton. Sutton is
Yeah.
the one who needed comfort there.
But you know
So,
what? I was going to say too, what we missing that for me, I thought was hysterical. God bless her, Sutton and Garcelle, and that stupid little wheelchair, honey. That thing
Yeah,
was standing.
that was a
So,
sweet
so
scene.
she brought the wheelchair to the table, and I'm thinking, look at this. They are really friends. Garcelle is pushing this woman around throughout the whole hotel with that wheelchair, and I think maybe that's another reason why Sutton was like, "Listen, I can't run if I wanted to." She was stuck at the table, so so that was pretty interesting. And also the bread comment made me very laugh. So the dinner scene itself was good. I was not bored with it. I liked Sutton was strong. I liked Garcelle was a little fierce, and even though she cried,
Yeah.
and I liked that Cal sort of made fun of Lisa Rinna with Kim Richards behind her. So that
I
was,
thought, well, you know what? I thought honestly, the crying I thought was a really strategic, really smart move. In company like that, and I think it is maybe like high social economic California politics, right? Oddly enough, sometimes when there's certain women and they're from a certain social economic stature, whoever is the nicest person wins. Whoever loses their cool or is very direct loses.
yeah.
Garcelle literally pulled that crying card out, and not because she wasn't hurt per se, but because she knew how to navigate and what their things are.
Yeah, she knew
Yeah,
when
she knew when to put it on, and I do think she was actually hurt. I don't think she was faking,
yeah.
but
But you,
I think she
yeah.
could have held it out, but she said, "No, I'm going to be free of my emotions." And it did shock me how little outpouring of sympathy I saw for Garcelle.
Yeah.
It highlighted that whole thing where it's
But
like,
I think, but I was going to say, I think it was probably hard. And you're right, she played it well, but I think it probably was hard for Garcelle because maybe she grew up the way I did. I had many friends who are Russian, who are Jewish, who are Black, and we all sort of were raised where we really don't cry. We not for no reason. I don't cry for no reason. So I think that even from Haiti, she probably is very, strict and don't cry. So maybe it was sort of strategic to say, you know what, these women ask me questions, I know what to answer,
yeah.
and I'm not really, moved that much, and try to come off
Well, you know what?
sympathetic.
she's
But just to
bullied.
be clear to everybody, when I say strategic, I don't mean like,
No,
like when I say strategic, I mean like the emotions already in you. Maybe if you were in a business meeting or something, you could have held it back and you decided just to be free with
yes.
your emotions. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like, yeah, but strategic makes it sound. So what word am I looking for?
Yeah.
Not strategic, but
Who wouldn't break down after being bullied time and
yeah.
time? They were
That's true.
And
all
gaslighted. It was bullying and gaslighting, right? Like,
like, she's smart. She knew that was an appropriate moment to show emotions. The emotions were real, but then again, because she has been able to hold back and take control of her emotions all the time. So this time she was like, I don't know if it was deliberate decision or if it was she couldn't
She is, yeah.
couldn't.
She's so smart. I think that the thing too is every tactic they use for Denise last year, they're doing the same thing for Garcelle. They
Yes.
find, thank you, Miss. So they aren't they finding these sort of like these little rumors. So last year we had Brandy and that little thing that had mean nothing. So this year we have the article. So every time they come to the dinner, they go, "Well, Garcelle, you know what? We heard about this. We know about this." And then here we go to grill Garcelle. But mind you, we have a woman on the table who's responsible for so many crimes and problems, and we're afraid to ask her stuff. But here we got Garcelle talking to a rag or somewhere, and we want to make a big story and pressure and. So I feel like that. I feel like all the tricks they use for Denise, they're trying to use for Garcelle, but it's not working. She's so. I like when she was like telling Brenda, "Really, you must be." She used curse words. And I was like, "Go ahead."
yeah, when she said the Rena thing where she was just like, "Be please."
That's right.
It
Yeah.
sounded so awkward. It was in the confessional where she was talking about Garcelle and she's like, "And you want me to do this? Be please." It sounded so awkward, so out of place. And it also did you guys agree with me? It sounded like she was low key actually trying to call her a B.
Of
It was
course.
weird. It
Of
was
course.
weird. It was weird. It was weird. Right?
Was horrible. It's very. I feel like, when I watched like that season, the rerun, when they started like ganging up on Vanderpump before Puppygate, when they were in Dubai, it was like it showed the alliances how they were like, okay, let's kick this woman out, and we do this, and this is how they to the point that even Kyle, she made an alliance with Lisa Rinna at the expense of her sister. So like, really, family is important to you and you only cry over confessionals? You should never be friends with Lisa Rinna.
And why, I was going to say too, Miss Mariam, Miss Mariam, what I thought was weird too, why is this year, Kyle, why is she hiding her family so much this year? Like, we don't see no older daughters, no middle daughters. We don't see her husband barely.
We see a perfect marriage. Listen, for throwing Erica under the bus, what does she have? Her Mauricio eating stone crab claws, talking about how much they've grown. Mauricio, she's buried her heart to him. And Mauricio's like, you gonna eat that? I was just like,
it's so boring and it's not real. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they are all writing. They're doing it both ways, Lisa and Kyle and Dorit. They are playing like that role that we are supporting here, Erica, and doesn't matter how outrageous your stories are, we're going to say that we believe you. And they are writing off her, oh, good, it's her story. It's her scandal, not ours.
But listen, I will say, yes, Gloria, we were reading your comments. Listen, yeah. I think also, what do you guys think at the end about Erica being like, you want to know who your real friends are, get old and go broke? What is it with Erica and the Tom thing, which is why I think they're trying to avoid liability for jail time? Because honestly, why, if he is having dementia and he is this, why is Erica so pressed on leaving him? If you care that much, then why aren't you still with him? I mean, unless you have a boyfriend in the background waiting to marry you, what is the big deal of staying married? And this is, of course, going under Erica. I asked this question to you guys. Under Erica's guise of a dream world. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's assume we believe her lies. Okay.
At the beginning of our recap today, I said, like, you can't have it both ways. You're saying that he was dismissive, that he was a horrible husband, and you're leaving him because of that, and you can't stand it anymore, which implies that you were lying about your previous life or the portrayal that you showed on the show, what your life was. And then you say you're not talking to him, and now you're saying you care about him and you knew that he had dementia. So if you really care about him and you're heartbroken that nobody's taking care of him, they're putting him in a mental facility, why did you leave him when you knew that he needed you the most? You can't have it both ways, Erica. You just can't.
But that's Erica's territory. You know what? She wants to be able to, she is very smart and she can clock people. But then this season, she wants us to believe that she's not smart and she can't read signs. And if she'd been with a grandparent who had Alzheimer's, then, and so I want to ask, if I was her, I would ask Erica, so when your grandmother had Alzheimer's, was she financially responsible for making decisions and doing this and this and this and that kind of thing?
And were you taking money from her? That's the real thing. Like, were you taking money from her? It's really sick if you actually get down into it. But, you know, to the whole point of asking her, like, okay, so let's talk about your grandmother with Alzheimer's. It just shocks me that no one's really, except Ron Richardson, really ripping apart the story. And I know what you're saying about Bravo. What am I saying? I said it right about Bravo using them as like a cash cow and a payday. But wouldn't it be more to Bravo's thing to kind of like get in there and see what's really going on? You know what I'm saying?
I think they don't want to. They don't want to do the dirty work.
I think so too.
They are from afar. They're showing, they're taping, and they're getting what they want, viewership, without getting deep into it. Because if they did, they would. Erica should have been put on, on a leave, just like they gave a leave to Dorinda. But they didn't do that because they're cashing on her. They only put the housewives for a timeout when they are being detrimental to the show and too toxic. But for them, as of now, hate watching is as good as it gets.
So you know what? But I was going to say too, I think also, Miss Mariam, do we think that Erica, that a lot of the ladies who film the show say, I make friends with my producers. I make friends with the people who film me all the time. So I'm always wondering, maybe Bravo is like, okay, we don't want to go too far because we might be exposed that she's been friendly with the people around her. She brought things for them or they brought things for her. I always feel like maybe there's money changing hands between her and Bravo in some way. So maybe...
So there's this YouTuber, Candy Washington. You guys should watch her. She does like conspiracy. Well, she's not a conspiracy theorist, but she does like self-help, personal things. Really good, really insightful. And she has sometimes, I think, like Conspiracies Thursdays or something, where she basically just talks about like Reddit threads and this and that. But it's a fun, right? It's fun. A really good thing that she actually brought up to me, and I want to float it by you guys. Tom was at, so listen, there was an issue that NBC Universal had with someone. It was either employees or actors or whatever, but there was an issue with NBC Universal. Tom Girardi was representing those victims, right? With NBC Universal. NBC Universal and Tom settled. 6 months later, Erica was announced as the newest. No, Tom settled. Then those people that Tom was representing actually sued Tom because they said that he settled for an unconscionably low amount, and they don't understand why it happened because they had a really strong case, right? So then a few months later, Erica was announced as the next housewives for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And they were even saying in their lawsuit that they think that Tom literally, when they should have been representing their interests, made a deal that, okay, so my wife can get on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. All right, fine, we'll settle for this and go away.
Wow.
So that, when you said that there might be a business deal, you might be closer than you think.
Oh, yes, it's definitely a business deal. He was very well connected, and it's obvious. They have Erica now because it's serving the purpose of the show, and they're okay with it. And of course they're okay with it. If they were like really feeling bad for the victims, someone would mention the victims. Nobody's feeling sorry for the victims other than Sutton. She said, I don't need an apology. The victims first, and maybe then me. But they don't care. They just care about the viewership and the way he dismissed if he watched. For me, like, if you want to have an opinion about something, you have to watch it first.
True.
He said that he did not watch it. If he watched it, if he had an ounce of sympathy in his heart, which I hope he has, Andy Cohen, he would have never said that was a documentary. I don't call it a documentary.
But do you believe that he didn't watch it? And when he said that, I was like, oh, girl, please. This is another thing. Of course he watched it, but it was also overblowing his own importance. It's like me being like, Tisa, did you see like the presidential debates? And I'm like, I didn't watch that shit. It's like, okay, but the rest of the world did.
And so it's how I asked Andy. So him making fun of ABC for that program is like, wait a minute, you do not make reality TV. You make scripted television. So it's funny that he can even disparage somebody else for making something. In a way, maybe ABC made a more honest piece of work on the Girardis than Bravo is.
Oh yeah,
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
And other than that, like, he is criticizing the quality of the documentary because of two people the world got to know because he casted them, Dana Wilkie and Danielle Staub, and I rest my case.
Yeah.
So like. No, he was saying like, Dana what type Wilkie. Is this a documentary where they have Danielle and Dana? Who are these people?
It's funny, but it's like you're the one that brought them to our screen. Yes.
You know what? That's true. And I think also Erica she's lucky she's on the Housewives of Beverly Hills because she was in the Housewives of Atlanta with Phaedra and Nene. They probably would have went to the victims, brought them on a camera and said, now what did her husband do to you?
Kenya brought them for dinner.
That's right. There we go. So she's lucky.
Candy would have been like, "What in the world?" She's listening.
She would have got that man with the burn victims to say, "Okay, now what did her husband do to you? Tell me everything." And it would have been right on camera. Come on now.
Now that would have been bad. And if Carlos King had been producing that season, that would have been an episode, y'all. Right. So listen, what do we rate? Because I know we've been on here for a while. Let's give our final thoughts and what do we rate? And also, now, Mariam, thank you so much, even for the heated debate. Like, who said it? When they said, there's no group thinking here, okay? There is no group thinking in this chat. Everybody pull in different ways. But I guess that's what you guys tune in for, right? There's enough people thinking the same way, right? You want a different
Absolutely. You know what? I want to say this too. So I want to say this to both Mary and you. I love these conversations. I mean, tonight was wonderful. And I know Mariam, she calls into different shows and stuff. So she knows this, and Tisa knows this too. Sometime on different review shows, the people on the panel, they all say the same thing. They all have the same personality. They all have the same point of view. I like
They repeat and they steal content. and I can go
Yeah,
on.
so it's not I like this that we can have different point of view. But so this episode for me, it
And
was
rank it. So give your opinion and then rank it on 1 to 10.
okay. Okay, so my opinion is I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because of the last. I didn't enjoy the first part. It was in that side of them getting sort of ready to go to the trip into the hotel. But when it was at the table, I enjoyed it very much so because I love seeing the flashback of Kim Richards. She's my favorite. So when they showed that scene and Lisa Rinna, got red, I like that part. The rating, I might give it a 6.5. It wasn't the top, but I'll give it a 6.5.
Okay, that's a fair estimate. What about?
I hate watching it, and if I
I know
listen,
that's right.
yeah, I'm going to own it. If I had, sometimes when they take you to give an opinion about the pilot, you have to hold the cursor that you turn the button
Yes.
when you like, when you don't like. The only time that I had a happy face was when Garcelle was pushing the wheelchair with the Sutton. That was the only time. The rest, I felt extremely uncomfortable. My blood was boiling, and I could not believe these white privileged women. They are still in their bubble. I'm not saying all of them are racists, but all of them are extremely privileged, and privilege in these days do not serve us well.
Mm-hmm.
So my rate is 0.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? That's good. I thought you were going to give it negative numbers. So they're moving up. They're moving up.
Can I change my mind?
Go ahead, Mariam.
Okay, -5.
Okay, a -5. I thought Mary was going to be like, I'd give them 0 stars if I could. This episode, I like the Garcelle, the Erica carryover, but I've begun to see with Bravo, they always do high, low with their episodes so they can stretch it out into 18 episodes instead of just having 10. So I guess I agree with both of you guys. It was a filler episode, but they did give us a lot. But you know the one thing, and I hope it carries on to next episode, I am really, really disappointed that they didn't give Garcelle's thing more time because I thought it was worthy and deserving, and it really needed everything she was saying. It rang true. It just like Mariam. It touched something in me, and I'm just praying. But we'll keep an eye that hopefully next episode it will open up hot with the fallout from Garcelle. But if they just move on, I'll be like, yeah, move on so they could. And again, I do think the producers are playing Erica because she's good for business and they love catching her in her 50-11 lies. I wouldn't even be surprised if the producers were like, don't worry, we'll edit it out. We'll give a coherent timeline. Just talk.
Remember how much they cashed on, or they thrived on the lie when Ramona was caught on camera saying she doesn't want Sonia to be invited to that charity or to her birthday party.
Yes.
How many said, yeah, they like liars. They love liars. This is why you can look in every franchise who are their favorite children. The biggest liars ever.
Mm-hmm.
In Potomac, we have Giselle. In Beverly Hills, Erica now, and by default, Kyle, Lisa, and Andy, because now they're pretending that Bethany never told them that, and Bethany did the boss move. She called all of them out in that rent.
That's what you tell when somebody has their own money. Her money is not dependent on Bravo because she called them out. You can tell a skinny girl, whatever, must be making in millions because Bethany was unbothered.
She was on fire. She was on fire.
She was on fire. You guys, thank you so much. We got through this filler episode. We were house divided, but we joined hands again. I do think. Yes, next week, you guys, we're going to do this again next week. Join us at the same time. We're going to come in hot off the presses at 9:30 so we can have it firm in our minds. But when we do it, because I think next week's episode is going to be a doozy. It's going to be a real one. The reunion, now that I feel like even Garcelle saying, oh no, Erica answered every question, I feel like Bravo's execs were like, you guys better get on the same page. And now I'm a little disappointed at the reunion. I'm not crying for blood. I'm not trying to send anyone to jail, but I want the people responsible to be held liable. And yeah, it doesn't seem like
money. For me, it's seeing her in an orange Gucci jumpsuit won't bring me comfort. For me, what will bring peace to my heart is that these victims, they were made justice. I cannot imagine what they go through when they watch the show and they see the way the lies, and when they see how she's still living and that she's crying in a river over a Range Rover, she's crying in a river for still being invited to Kathy Hilton's home for a spa day and eating like caviar pies.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they go through. I just want them money, and I wish someone would do that right. Not that I feel like Bravo should pay. I feel like what's her name, Erica, should pay. But you know what? Just because Erica has given viewership to Bravo, I think, and that if Bravo pays, it's kind of like Erica worked for that. So just give the victims back. It's going to be a drop in their bucket. They have big money. Do right by the victims, Bravo, and make us watch the show because we love the show again. Hate watching is good for a season or two, but it's not sustainable. It's not.
No, definitely, Mariam. I completely agree with you. Kelly Steve wants to know, is this the finale episode, the one coming up next? I don't know if it is, but let me know if you guys know when the finale is. But then there's also Lost Love said, wait, Tisa, you were going to mention who might be funding Erica based on what you saw on Reddit. So it was on Reddit, and it was also on Crazy Days and Nights. If you guys don't know Crazy Days and Nights, they are an OG gossip blog, but they're the ones that when they put a story up and they reveal their blind items, they never take them down. It's run by a bunch of entertainment lawyers that actually work in Hollywood, right? So the word on the curb is the person who is funding Erica's life. And if you look, Erica's been taking a lot of pictures at the grand opening of places in Vegas. The person who's supposed to be funding Erica's life, her new sugar daddy, is none other than allegedly Steve Wynn of the Wynn Resorts and Casinos. He owns half of Vegas. He is richer than rich. But get this, crazy. This is all over the Reddit threads. But Crazy Days and Nights actually opened the blind item that said that she needs to slow down because apparently they said it was about Erica. Their sugar daddy is getting upset because she's blowing through too much money and spending. They posted this a few months back and they just said Erica Girardi. And I will say Crazy Days and Nights, they are blind items revealed, but when they reveal, they never, ever take the post down because they stand by what they say. And numerous celebrities have tried to sue them to get posts taken down, and it's never happened because they have their receipts. They always come with their receipts. So again, but this is speculation. This is innuendo. I do not know. This is just me being messy. But word on the curve is it is Steve Wynn, and we do see that Erica is opening a lot. It's at a lot of things in Las Vegas all of a sudden. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, always follow the money. She will find another. She's a vampire. She will find another person to suck the blood out of. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, also T. Cohen, Mel, New York City. He said, you sound like the guy from Sherelle's show. Mel is in these YouTube streets. He is. No, I'm sure Mel's called in before.
No? There? I never. Where's Mel? Let Mel say.
Sorry. I was too busy typing. Yeah, I was telling Tisa, yeah, when I see a topic, I go on, I talk, whatever. But Tisa is the first one that made me feel comfortable to actually join a panel because everybody else, they have their own thing. But yes, I've called to Miss Sherelle.
Listen, Mel and Mariam are hot commodities, and you guys will see them here. And they always have the best panelists, but you're going to see them all over these YouTube streets. So wherever you see them, go support them, guys.
Yeah,
I've seen Miss Mariam on different things too, and I've always loved her commentary. So when she popped up, I was like, oh my God, I know her. I saw her, and she's very funny. So yeah, I've called into different things, and Sherelle was one of those places. Very cool.
Yes, you're around the low-key royalty celebrity.
I'm more on your vibe these days because timely, it's working better for my schedule, but that's not the only reason.
But we work around Mariam's schedule. She's about to go on vacation. Everybody wish her safe travels. All right. So we might not have Mariam next week because she's going to be too busy rubbing her toes in the sand, drinking champagne, and giving googly eyes to the cute waiter. The way the guy delivered that thing to Giselle. But she was like, well, what about you? Do you have anything to deliver to me? That's going to be Mariam.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You know what? I'm just sort of here chilling out in NYC, but I can't wait to escape soon too. But yeah, I'm enjoying
okay, we'll take turns. We have to take leave. Like I come back on the 18th. Then you can.
Where are you going? Kelly Steve wants to know where you're going.
I am going to Portugal and Spain.
Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful.
She's gonna be tossing up. We can't wait for the pictures.
I mean, the food alone, the tapas, and all the food.
Oh, photo dump.
do not come back engaged and or pregnant. Okay.
Oh no, girl. I don't have game. No, not. And I'm 50. I'm gonna have babies now. No way.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for a great live, and thank you, B. Thank you for joining us. And all. Hold on, really quick. Thank you, B, for joining us. Thank you, Callie, Steve, of course. Thank you, Lost Love. Thank you for my little TisaTells that joined my membership. It is only $5 a month. I'm going to have members only lives and all this other content coming out. So if you guys want to support me for $5 a month, definitely. Of course, my panelists. I'll figure out a way to give you guys memberships somehow. I'll figure out a way to give you guys membership.
Ooh, I love a freebie.
All you other guys. Pull out your debit card and get a membership. It's only $5 a month. Come on, you know I need it. You know I need it. We'll call it the Simon Gabodia Legal Relief Fund, okay?
Oh,
All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
thank you, Mel. Thank you, Mariam.
Okay.
Bye-bye.